É... Uma TV. Oxê.
Acquiesce to the policy, or the world for that matter, to acquiesce to the policy, needs to be passable. So if the fundamental axiom is a state is going to do something that is in its best interest, and if this pretext about drug trafficking is not real, it raises the question, what is the real reason then? The real reason, not the pretext, that we went into Venezuela. What was the national interest that was served in carrying out the operation? And there's a ton of speculation about this. And I want to start first and foremost with this argument about oil. This is what everybody focuses on. Venezuela is one of the major petroleum exporting countries of the world. Founding member of OPEC, the oil and petroleum exporting cartel. Venezuela is a petrostate. So most of their government revenue is funded by the sale of oil. They sell most of their oil to China, which is a U.S. adversary. And so with all of this escalation and with the force posture assembled in the Caribbean, everybody thinks, of course, the reason we have kidnapped Maduro, and based on some of what the president has said also, the national interest that was served here is taking control of that oil supply. And let's talk a little bit about the oil. It is important to acknowledge that Venezuela is not one of the biggest oil producers in the world in terms of how much oil they produce every single day. Venezuela is actually underperforming. They produce about 800,000 to a million barrels of oil per day. For context, there's about 105 million barrels of oil produced in the world every day. So, if there's 105 million barrels per day being produced in the world, and Venezuela accounts for 800,000 to 1 million of those barrels, That is less than 1% of global oil production. By far and away, the biggest oil producers are the United States, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iran, and they blow Venezuela out by 20, 10, 5 times that. So why is Venezuela attractive for oil? It's because they have the largest proven oil reserves. According to some estimates, they say it's 300 billion barrels of oil in Venezuela. According to other estimates by the U.S. Geological Survey, it could be as much as 1 trillion barrels of oil. And so the question of Venezuela's oil is really in its untapped potential. There's going to be no immediate effect on Venezuelan oil production in the world. Specifically, let's think about it from the point of view of geopolitics. A lot of people said that the United States invaded Venezuela either to, one, deprive China of the oil they get from Venezuela, or two, and obviously this goes hand in hand, so that the United States can start receiving the oil that Venezuela produces. But again, you got to go back to the numbers. China imports about 11 million barrels of oil per day. They only import about 600,000 of those barrels from Venezuela, so it's about 4%. So Venezuela makes less than 1% of the world's oil every day. China imports less than 4%. Less than 4% of their imports is coming from Venezuela. So if the goal of the United States in taking Venezuela's leader and seizing control of the oil fields, if the goal was to have some immediate effect on either the global price of oil or on the supply of oil to China, this is going to have a negligible impact. Let's talk about on the side of the United States. The United States could always import Venezuelan oil, and we always have. The United States will sanction Venezuelan oil at will. Sometimes we buy it, sometimes we don't, and that's based on our political posture towards Venezuela, whether we're more aggressive or not. Under the first Trump administration, we put heavy sanctions on Venezuela's oil in 2019. We wouldn't buy it. When Biden got elected, he gave Venezuela a waiver from the sanctions, and we started importing it. So we could always have access to Venezuela's oil, and they would have been happy to sell it to us. Last year, our special envoy to Venezuela, Rick Grenell, actually negotiated a deal where they would sell us their oil. They would give us even their critical mineral mines, their gold mines. We could make money from their existing mines, and we would be able to take advantage of future prospects if we did a proper survey and found out the true mineral wealth of the country. So the real question about Venezuela's oil, it is not about whether we have access to it. It's not a question of whether we're depriving China of a particularly important source of oil. They'll just get more from Russia or other countries. It's not a question of putting downward pressure on global oil prices to hurt countries like Russia. So people say, the real reason we took over Venezuela is that future potential. What is the situation in Venezuela? It hasn't always been the case that they produced only 800,000 to 1 million barrels per day. Back in the 1990s, they produced 3.5 million barrels per day. But the reason it's gone down over the past 25 years is because of mismanagement, corruption. They don't service their existing oil wells. They don't do what is necessary to maintain the infrastructure. So at one time, they were producing 3.5 million barrels per day. They thought they might produce over 6 million barrels per day. There's that, number again. 270, but at one time, 3.5 million, and they thought they could go up to 6 million. Now they're down to 800,000. So the corollary to all of this, people say, well, the United States is going to bring back American oil companies like ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, and U.S. oil companies are going to invest billions of dollars to service the infrastructure and build new infrastructure. And if we could jack up Venezuela's oil production to 3 million barrels per day or 6 million barrels per day, then this is going to be a huge source of energy for the United States. That being said, the timeline to take advantage of the resources is many, many years. It's an open-ended question if that is going to happen at all. Trump convened a meeting of oil executives this past week, and they all said that at this point in time, they will not be investing billions of dollars in Venezuela. And the reason being is because there's a very bad environment in the country for enforcing or arbitrating contracts. If there's a dispute between the Venezuelan state and an American oil company, the American oil company has no recourse. They cannot enforce existing contracts. International arbitration has no power. And so what has happened a couple of times in the past few decades is the Venezuelan state will expropriate the assets of American oil companies without reimbursing them. And so these oil companies are not about to go in with their personnel, who they're putting at risk in terms of their safety and security, and they're not going to pour billions of dollars in if there's no guarantee that in the next administration or in 10 years, they're going to be able to see a return on investment. And that would be guaranteed by robust contract enforcement, international arbitration. There would actually have to be policy changes. And none of that is guaranteed. It might be worked out in the future. Even if you're able to create an environment where contracts can be enforced, where there's international arbitration, the timeline to service or increase the infrastructure in Venezuela is years. And so there have been estimates done on this. There is one American oil company in Venezuela, Chevron. If this company gets some kind of investment, maybe to get a short-term guarantee, they say that on the early end, you're talking about in a year, 2 years, maybe Venezuela gets up to 1.5 million barrels per day. So we go up by 50%. You get up another 500,000 barrels per day, 500,000 to 700,000 barrels per day, depending on the estimate for how much they make now. Again, this is not a significant amount of oil production to affect the global price of oil. It's not a significant amount of oil for the United States. The only relevant strategic factor with the oil, there's two things. It's about what kind of oil Venezuela's making and where the oil's going, not with regard to China. So first and foremost, the kind of oil in Venezuela is what they call heavy sour crude oil, very light or sweet crude oil. That talks about the chemistry of oil. Heavy and light refers to how viscous and thick it is. Sweet and sour refers to how much sulfur is in the oil. Why does this matter? It takes a different kind of infrastructure to process and refine heavy and sour oil versus light and sweet oil. The United States imports heavy and sour oil from Canada, from Mexico, and from Venezuela. In the 1990s, U.S. oil companies built a ton of refining infrastructure in the Gulf of Mexico and Texas and Louisiana, 18 refineries, because they anticipated that they would be getting this heavy sour oil from Mexico and from Venezuela.
Dude.
Mexico was making tons of oil. Venezuela was making tons of oil. And so they made this bet that in perpetuity, the United States would be getting its oil from these countries. It would be this particular kind of oil, and that requires this infrastructure to process and refine this oil. And it's a very intensive process. What happens in the mid-2000s is that many of Mexico's oil wells run dry, and the amount of oil they produce actually goes down considerably. Same thing happens in Venezuela. So what happens to all these refineries in the Gulf of Mexico that were built up, cost billions of dollars, took many years? This is a major capital investment. What do you do if there is a supply crunch? You're just not getting the oil from these countries that you anticipated. Canada comes in. And Canada increases their oil production and starts exporting it to the United States. And now the United States imports about 60% of its oil from Canada, because this is the heavy sour crude that we need in Texas and Louisiana, that it is sufficient for this infrastructure to refine. And we actually take the light sweet crude that we get from the oil sands through fracking, and we export that to other countries that have the appropriate infrastructure for that. So, if Venezuela increases the amount of oil production from 800,000 to 1.5 million barrels per day, this is not going to affect global oil prices. It's not going to be a major issue for China. They'll just get more oil from Russia. But that slight increase and then maybe projected future increase, it is going to affect Canada. Canada actually becomes one of the biggest losers. We, right now, are reliant on Canadian heavy sour oil. This is why we're building all these pipelines to get their oil from Canada down to the Gulf of Mexico. But it is cheaper to transport oil from Venezuela on a ship from Venezuela to Mexico to a port than it is to bring it down from a pipeline. So what does that mean? It means that we're going to prefer Venezuelan oil. It's cheaper per barrel to transport. That means that puts downward pressure on the price of oil that we buy from Canada. So the idea that Canada has leverage over our economy because of the kind of oil they make, this might hurt them in the short and intermediate term. So that's the first country that gets affected in terms of oil. The second country is Cuba. Cuba needs about 100,000 barrels of oil per day. They get 30,000 barrels from Venezuela. And they get it almost for free. And they get it because Venezuela and Cuba are ideological and political allies. Cuba is a communist country. Venezuela is a socialist country. And so for decades, there has been a transfer between these two countries. Cuba provides human capital, like doctors, intelligence agents, other things. Venezuela gives them free or discounted oil. One of Trump's first demands of the new Venezuelan regime is that they stop sending oil to Cuba, and Trump has implemented a blockade of Venezuelan oil. So that is going to put immediate pressure on Cuba. Regardless of how much oil Venezuela makes, whether it gets to China, and that's an open-ended question, how much of it goes to the United States, how much more they might make, these are all questions for a later date. But as of right now, like today and in the near term, Cuba is deprived of about a third of its oil imports. And this speaks to, as I said earlier last year, the real geopolitical ambition in Venezuela is so much more broad than people believe. People are looking in a very narrow way at the Venezuelan regime, at Maduro, and they're saying, well, what about Maduro, and what about Venezuela from a geostrategic point of view, and what about their oil production? And they're looking at it strictly, only, narrowly at this one country. But this is ignoring that the Trump administration has a much more ambitious endgame in the Caribbean and in the Western Hemisphere at large. We'll talk about the Western Hemisphere a little bit later, but in the first place, you have one of the most powerful secretaries of state in the modern American era right now with Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State, and as of spring 2025, he is also the National Security Advisor and leads the National Security Council. Mike Waltz from Florida was appointed to that position. He was dismissed. Rubio was appointed as an acting National Security Advisor and replaced him. So Rubio is a very powerful Secretary of State. As some of you might know, Marco Rubio is from the state of Florida. He is a Cuban American. His parents are Cuban refugees. Technically, they fled the U.S.-backed government of Cuba, not the communists, which is kind of funny. Nevertheless, he's a Cuban refugee. He has very strong feelings about the Cuban regime. And you can imagine that it is his personal ambition that the Cuban regime gets overthrown. And so attacking Venezuela was never just about Venezuela. It was also always about Cuba and Nicaragua. It was about Venezuela's socialist allies in the Caribbean and in Central America that are dependent on Venezuela's oil. And so this is like a reverse domino theory. If you take down Venezuela, then you can carry that over to Cuba for a variety of reasons. One, because there's pressure from energy. Two, there's a ripple effect of kidnapping the leader. And the ripple effect is that an adversary like Cuba is going to look at this and wonder, is our president next? but also allies like Mexico are going to say the same thing. Do we want an increased U.S. presence in our country? And what this produces is cooperation. Unlike oil, this is intangible. You can quantify oil. You cannot specifically quantify cooperation. What Trump did in Venezuela was send a message that it would be better for Mexico to cooperate with the White House than not. And so Cuba's other major partner in the oil trade is Mexico. There's more pressure on Cuba rallying our allies against our adversaries, but also in Havana. The Cuban leadership is wondering if they're going to get airstrikes in their country, if they're going to get black bagged in the middle of the night. And there's the pressure coming from Venezuela and Mexico not sending their oil. So this is the ambitious agenda. This is actually the true oil politics in this theater of conflict. It has nothing to do in terms of oil with China, or less to do with that. It has less to do with America getting the oil, unless you're talking about a longer-term investment, which is somewhat unreliable. The immediate effects are going to be felt by Canada, and they're going to be felt by Cuba. So that's oil. Now, there's some has been said about critical minerals and gold. I would say that that is a non-factor. Venezuela's mineral wealth is unexploited. There's no infrastructure. There's no investment. The preliminary stages have not even been conducted. It's questionable whether there are significant reserves of minerals and what the quality of the minerals are. In terms of bang for your buck, you're better off looking at Ukraine, Congo, Greenland, Canada, than you are looking at Venezuela. So some people have talked about Venezuela allegedly has these untapped gold reserves from the ground. Some of these numbers have been conflated with the amount of gold in Venezuela's government, the actual physical gold they hold as currency. And there has been some said about bauxite and other minerals, but again, that's probably very low on the totem pole in terms of priorities. This is the last thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to get into that real reason. So a lot of people have also said that what this represents is neoconservatism. People are saying that this is a neoconservative intervention. I have been called neocon Nick for supporting it. They say it's just another neocon war. What is neoconservatism? Neoconservatism, ostensibly, it's an ideology. And the reason I say ostensibly is because it is layered. There is an exoteric version of neoconservatism, what it says it is, and then there is, and they emerged in the late 1960s and early 1970s. They are all Democrats. It is weird. There is an exoteric version of neoconservatism, what it says it is, and then there is, and they emerged in the late 1960s and early 1970s. They are all Democrats. Okay, the neoconservatives are all former Democrats who are reacting to the radical new left, which is much more progressive, much more socialist. And one of the actions that creates the new conservatives that emerge from the liberals is the Soviet Union's invasion, or rather, the Soviet Union backed Egyptian and Syrian invasion of Israel in 1973. The Israel-Arab War in 1967. And so all of these liberal Democrats in New York City, in New York, who lives in New York, all of these liberal Democrats, they see that the communist Soviet Empire is working to destroy Israel. And they're working to destroy Israel politically and militarily. Politically by putting forth resolutions in the Security Council and the General Assembly calling Israel a racist country and Zionism racist, but also because they're
Just give me the word and I'll make it happen. Hello. How can I help you? You got a nice fleet, boss. They're bringing your personal vehicle around right now.
Is she going today?
Israel's enemies, which could theoretically destroy Israel, and almost did on a few occasions. And so all of these liberal Democrats from New York City, Jews, who are writing these intellectual magazines and going to intellectual salons, they get very jaded about the left. They get jaded about the Soviet Union. And they realize if Israel is going to make it, the Soviet Union has to be destroyed. Because the Soviet Union is backing all of Israel's enemies. The Soviet Union is propping up the new left, just calling Israel racist and undermining the foundations of Israel. So these liberal Democrats from New York, these Jews, they flip sides. Now they maintain all of their liberal politics. They're still in favor of mass migration. They're in favor of the free market. They're in favor of racial integration. They're in favor of feminism, all of these things. The only thing is they now want to destroy the Soviet Union. And how do they justify it? They say we need to promote democracy. How do we roll back the Soviet Union and its communist tentacles? We have to be in the business of democracy promotion, promoting free markets, promoting a liberal system. And so they say wherever the Soviet Empire touches, like in Vietnam or in Nicaragua or wherever, we need to plant the flag of democracy and the free market. And this carries on through the Cold War into the 1990s and 2000s. And the neocons are still preoccupied with the Middle East and Israel. And so what do they start to say in the 90s and 2000s? They say we need to bring democracy to the Middle East because it's a strategically important region and it's going to really count here. And if we plant the flag of a democracy, we're going to transform the region into a place that is allied with the United States. They pick all of Israel's worst enemies, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and this is where they want to promote their democracies. And the goal was to destroy these regimes, which are pan-Arab or Islamist, and replace the regimes. Kill the leaders, kill the officer class, prosecute all the bureaucrats, and create new countries, new states, new security architecture, with new people that are ideologically liberal, capitalist, pro-democracy. And that's what they did in Iraq, and that's what they're trying to do in Syria, that's what they're trying to do in Iran right now. Like I said, there is an exoteric, meaning an outside reading, and there is an esoteric, a hidden inside meaning. The outside meaning of neoconservatism is that the American flag represents democracy, freedom, free markets, liberalism, and we need to turn the world into a democracy to make it safe for America and safe for diversity and liberalism and religious pluralism. And that is what they tell people. And that is how they get white people to support this. The deeper meaning, of course, is that this is a farce. This is a pretext, just like drugs in Venezuela. It's not really about democracy promotion. We work with Saudi Arabia. The neocons work with Saudi Arabia, which is an Islamic theocracy. The neocons work with the current regime in Syria, which is run by Al-Qaeda. And it is going to be an Islamist state. It's like the Taliban. So they don't really mean that, and they don't really care about democracy or free markets or liberalism. The real reason they're saying this is to justify U.S. interventions that are important to Israel. And those are the ones that we've been fighting near Israel's borders for 25, 30 years. Iraq, most notably, but also all the other theaters you now know about. So, question. Is Venezuela a neoconservative intervention? Well, let's talk about it. So what did we do in Venezuela? Did we, strictly speaking, pursue a regime change policy in Venezuela? Did we change the regime? Some people might say the obvious answer is yes. I think I saw Michael Tracy and Glenn Greenwald. They said, no one can argue that Trump isn't in favor of regime change. But did we change the regime? What is a regime? What is the regime in Venezuela? The regime in Venezuela is called Chavista. That's the style and the form of the regime that was brought to power by Hugo Chavez when he was elected in 98 and with the Bolivarian Revolution in Venezuela. It's a socialist, gangsterish, cult of personality based on redistribution, using their oil wealth to pay for social services. What else is the regime? It is not only the president, but it is their civilian leadership, and it is the military leadership. It is the security forces. It is, for example, the very powerful defense minister and interior minister. Now ask yourself, here we are 2 weeks later. Did the regime change? And it's sort of a trick question, because while Nicolas Maduro was kidnapped and removed from the country, the rest of the regime remains completely intact. It is totally still there. Maduro's vice president became the president. The interior minister remained. The defense minister remained. Every government minister remained. And the security services remained. The security services that are loyal to this Chavista government, this socialist government, they all remain too. We didn't go in and arrest everybody. We didn't do re-education. We didn't do a loyalty test. We didn't put on trial the whole leadership class or military leadership. One person was removed, and the second in line moved up. And you could say, well, what difference does it make? They took the president. We did not do this in Iraq. We did not do this in Syria. We did not do this in Afghanistan. We did not do this in any of those countries. When the United States invaded Iraq, we didn't just take out Saddam Hussein and let his Ba'athist officers and loyalists pick up the pieces. We took out Saddam. We tried to eradicate and de-Ba'athify. That was the ruling one party in Iraq. We tried to de-Ba'athify the entire country and turn it into a democracy with elections. In other words, in terms of personnel, concretely, but also in terms of the character of the state, we tried to change the regime. Same in Afghanistan. Did we take out the leader of the Taliban and then let the Taliban keep running their theocracy? No, we tried to get women to vote there. We tried to build a regime with tribal alliances and have elections, and it would be a liberal state run by different people. Same thing in Syria. Same thing in Libya. It was a full regime change. This is something approximating a decapitation strike, but only in the narrowest possible terms. And by the way, this is not just me saying this. This is not a theory. Some people might say, well, that's cope. You're desperate. You're just making excuses. The actual neoconservatives who are still around, they say exactly the same thing. Bret Stephens, the Jewish columnist at the New York Times, who trained Barry Weiss. He comes from the Jerusalem Post. He is one of the most well-known, prominent neoconservatives in American public life. This is what he had to say about it. He said, quote, "There are good reasons to celebrate the downfall of the tyrant Maduro, as so many Venezuelan exiles did when they heard the news Saturday morning. Not among those reasons, an America that seizes Venezuela's oil assets while keeping what is left of Maduro's odious regime in place. Whether failing to remove the regime is a possibly disastrous oversight or part of a yet-to-be-revealed plan, the administration will have to figure out how to get rid of it for good in favor of a legitimate, stable, democratically elected government, and it will have to offer Americans and the rest of the world an explanation for why it did so." So this is one of the leading neocons. Yes, he is a Jew. You don't have to check the early life. He comes from the Jerusalem Post. He was at the Murdoch-controlled Wall Street Journal. He is the mentor of Barry Weiss. He is a columnist at the New York Times, the paper of record of the United States. And he wrote the day after the operation, he said, well, you know, there's some reasons to be happy, but I'm not going to be happy until it's regime change and we get a stable, democratically elected government. And until that happens, you need to explain why you didn't. So they don't think it's the neocons don't consider it regime change because it isn't. Here's another one. This is Elliot Abrams. Elliot Abrams is another. He's a legend of the neocons. Another Jew, a Straussian, worked in the Reagan administration, the Bush administration, the Trump administration in the first term. Elliot Abrams, one of the architects of Clean Break, the war in Iraq. Elliot Abrams was interviewed by Ross Douthat at the New York Times, and this is what he said. He said, quote, "I was arguing for a policy of regime change. We don't have that policy. The regime is still in place in Caracas fully. And the front man, Delcy Rodriguez, is being accepted by the United States. She is surrounded by indicted drug trafficking criminals who are still in place. So I would like to hear more from the administration about how we move from this moment to democracy in Venezuela. We've heard the word elections from the president, from the Secretary of State. We've heard nothing about how and why they think this bunch of criminals is going to commit suicide by leading to a democratic transition." So these are two of the leading Jewish neocons in American public life, and they both say this is unsatisfactory, this is not a regime change, this is not what we asked for. And why? Because they plucked Maduro out, but the security forces, the rest of the regime is completely intact. Well, let's look at who took Maduro's spot. It's Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez. She's a Chavista. She's a socialist. The intelligence services are loyal to her. Do you know what she said about the operation to remove Maduro? This is what she said according to the Jewish Forward magazine. Venezuela's acting leader, in an address to the nation on Sunday, said there were Zionist undertones to the U.S. military's capture of Nicolas Maduro. Delcy Rodriguez, a vice president under Maduro, who is now the interim leader, has demanded the immediate release of Maduro and his wife since they were captured by U.S. forces on Saturday. Maduro and Flores were flown to New York City, where they are expected to appear in federal court on drug trafficking and other charges on Monday. She said, quote, "Governments around the world are simply shocked that the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is the victim and target of an attack of this nature, which undoubtedly has Zionist undertones." So why do you think Bret Stephens and Elliot Abrams are unhappy that it wasn't a complete regime change? I'll tell you why. This is like what played out in Argentina back in 2023. In 2023, you had a Peronist, socialist, left-wing candidate running for president of Argentina. He was going to put Argentina in BRICS. He was sympathetic to Palestine, among other things. The United States backed his challenger, Javier Milei. Milei is a U.S. loyalist. Among other things, he's aspirationally Jewish. He says he wants to be a Jew. He's pro-Israel. When he won the election, he visited Chabad Lubavitch headquarters in Brooklyn, New York. Then he visited Israel. He cried at the Wailing Wall. Argentina is one of the only countries now that votes with the United States with Israel in the United Nations. So why do you think that Elliot Abrams and Bret Stephens want a full democratic transition in Venezuela? Because they want Maria Corina Machado, who is the leader of the Venezuelan opposition, who is pro-Israel, just like Javier Milei. They want her to be the president. They want democracy. They want elections. They want the CIA and the National Endowment for Democracy to make her the president so that she can give everything to the CIA and start supporting Israel. But Trump said she's not up for the job. This is what Trump said about Maria Corina Machado. He said, quote, asked on Saturday if he thought Machado could run the country, Trump distanced himself from their most visible Democratic figure, saying it would be very tough for her. He said she's a nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect within the country. And so here is the tension. It's a subtle tension between a completely neoconservative foreign policy and you could say Jacksonian, realist, pro-America foreign policy. What are the neoconservatives interested in? Again, exoterically, extrinsically, democracy promotion, nation building, regime change. That is in name what the neocons want. They want America to invade countries, kill all the strongmen dictators, and force a democratic transition, and the country is run by the CIA, and the government's pro-Israel. And Israel can send the Jews there, and the Jews can infiltrate that country. That's what they want. Of course, esoterically, intrinsically, what the Jews want is to create more allies for Israel, with a focus on the Middle East. They want the United States to destroy all these regimes. Specifically, they want the United States to cause so much destabilization, turmoil, chaos. They want to fracture these Middle Eastern countries so that they cannot come back together as a strong, coherent whole. They want us to not only destroy Iraq's government, but destabilize it so that Iraq is dismembered into 3 pieces, and without unification, they can never get a big military to challenge Israel. And they want America to invade all these countries and force a democratic transition so that Jewish election fixers and Mossad can penetrate those countries and secure their interests. Israeli firms, Jewish firms can come in and do their thing. What the United States is doing is subtly different, which under Trump. According to the National Defense Strategy, Trump said, our focus is not the Middle East. It's not even the Pacific, it's Latin America. Trump said, we have suffered from strategic neglect in the Western Hemisphere. We let it go. Now there are threats rising up in Central, South America, and the Caribbean. We need to address those things to create a hemispheric defense so that the entire hemisphere is defensible from foreign influence. And that doesn't necessarily entail democracy promotion. We don't care if Venezuela is a democracy as long as they bow to our leaders. We don't care if their government professes liberalism as long as they are our ally. We have their resources, we can tell them what to do. And again, the difference is in focus. Israel wants to escalate in Lebanon. They want us to escalate in Syria. They want us to escalate in Iran, in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Yemen. Venezuela is not really high on their list. In the same way that Iran doesn't threaten the United States, Venezuela doesn't threaten Israel. Do they like that the Venezuelan regime is pro-Palestine? Obviously not. But they would rather the United States bomb Tehran, obviously, than bomb Caracas. And they would rather Venezuela undergo a democratic transition, a CIA coup with some Zionist puppet, than have this kind of gunboat hostage situation with the remnant of the Maduro regime. So there are some subtle differences there. With that out of the way, I want to get into the real, this is a long show, I want to get into the real justification for the U.S. intervention in Venezuela. And this gets back to that subtle difference. A lot of people said this is a war under false pretenses because of this pretext about drug trafficking. So it's a lie. A lot of people said this is neoconservatism. And so this is another useless war, an illegal war. They said it's contrary to international law or even constitutional law. All these arguments were given. Here is my unwavering axiom and why I would justify the intervention in Venezuela. It starts with America first. Okay, that's the name of the show. So the show is not called non-intervention. The show is not called isolation. It's not called UN. It's not called nationalism for all nations. Fuck the other nations and fuck the UN. It's called America first. Ideologically, I am a realist. What does that mean? It means
Goddamn right.
the only imperative for any government, for any state, is to put its own people first. What is the only imperative of a U.S. government if we have a government? It is to ensure the safety and security and continuity of the United States of America. If it can't do that, if it isn't doing that, then it is not doing its job. That is the moral imperative. Survival is the imperative. Because if a nation doesn't survive, well, then it cannot do anything else. Just like a human being. My imperative as a human being is survival. I need to eat. I need to drink water. I need to defend myself if I'm under attack. I need to secure myself. And it goes beyond. If someone is pointing a gun at me, I shoot them first. We have houses with locks on our doors. We have situational awareness. We take precautions. Because as long as there are other people that we share the world with, they threaten us by their very existence. As long as there are other individuals that want the things that we want, whether it's resources, whatever, that they want more, we want more, it creates a security dilemma. As long as I am a man and there's another man, and we go to embrace and shake hands, I'm worried he's got a rock behind his back. I'm worried that he's got a weapon behind his back. If another man has a weapon, I need a weapon. If I think he might have a weapon, he might be able to kill me. And if he can, he might, because he's thinking the same thing. And he thinks it might be safer to go and kill me first, on the off-end chance that I'm plotting to kill him, than to wait and take the chance. This is called a security dilemma. And so as long as there are governments, as long as there are states, they are in a ceaseless security dilemma. They're in a ceaseless calculation about how to secure their survival. And a nation is more complex than a person. A nation needs a lot of things. It needs an idea to keep all of the people together. A nation needs resources. For a complex modern economy, it needs energy, it needs food, it needs certain minerals. It needs a lot of things. And so what is involved in U.S. foreign policy and military policy is the first question: is this in favor of the continuity and survival of the American nation? And it gets to be quite convoluted. We are a great power. We exist on the world stage among other countries that would like to be world powers. They want to be world powers because they want to be optimally secure. They want to be in the position of advantage. They are working to secure resources, territory. They want to have that primacy, that comfort of knowing that if it came down to it, they could win a conflict. And so, like I said, it gets to be quite convoluted. A lot of people like to say, well, America's a republic. If we're not attacked, then we shouldn't go and fight anybody. Well, America has interests pursuant to its survival that go beyond whether we're directly attacked. You know, this is what happens at Pearl Harbor. Japan is worried that we have this powerful navy. We are watching these developments in Europe and Asia. They're worried that if they make some moves to secure oil, we might intervene. They launch a preemptive attack. We need to be making these chess calculations. We need to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. And we need to think about everything that a nation needs. Not just guns and ships, but everything that a nation might need. Pharmaceuticals, food, fertilizer. And we need to think about, in a hypothetical matchup, in a hypothetical war, how are we going to best be able to defend ourselves or launch a preemptive attack? And then we have to look at geography. This is the basis of geopolitics. So the show is called America First. I am a realist because, first and foremost, I believe our government should be looking out for Americans. If you have a U.S. passport, if you have U.S. citizenship, if you're a tax-paying American, and you don't want to die, you want to secure resources and safety and all the things that a government can secure for its people. You want our country to be as powerful as possible. You want our country to look after our vital strategic interests. And so under that premise, I believe that, yes, sometimes war is justified. Yes, interventions, some small, all the way up to a total war, are necessary. It is necessary to have nuclear weapons. It is necessary to have a giant military bases. It is necessary to have these things, actually. I'm in favor of those things, as long as they are for survival, continuity, preservation of Americans. This has actually always been our doctrine, or at least it was from the very beginning. And when our founders set up the government, they took note of this. They acknowledged that our greatest asset as a fledgling republic, long before we industrialized, before we had a navy, before we had an army, before we were any kind of a power, forget about a global power, before we were even a regional power, local power, the founding fathers knew that our great strategic asset is that we are protected by the oceans. We don't have to concern ourselves with what is happening in Europe or Asia, Russia, the concert of powers in Europe, Napoleon, because they're never going to come all the way over here and invade us. And if they do, we have an advantage. They have to cross an ocean. And that involves logistics and resupply, and it's a difficult journey. We're right here. And so the founding fathers said, we should not go out into the world looking for monsters to destroy. We don't need to. We're blessed by the geography. We don't need to actually concern ourselves with the great power conflicts that are happening over there, and the intrigue and the diplomacy and sometimes the wars. And they said we should not pursue these types of alliances where we get entangled in them and we're committed permanently to other countries. Why would we? We're safe, so we should be flexible. Shortly after the country comes into existence, you get the promulgation of what is called the Monroe Doctrine by James Monroe, written by his personnel, John Quincy Adams. And this is delivered at the State of the Union. And I'll read it to you. This is in 1823. President James Monroe says, quote, "The occasion has been judged proper for asserting as a principle in which the rights and interests of the United States are involved, that the American continents, by free and independent condition, which they have assumed and maintain, are henceforth not to be considered as subjects for future colonization by any European powers." This goes back literally 200 years. You might have heard of it, the Monroe Doctrine. Written by John Quincy Adams, stated by President James Monroe. He says, no European countries can colonize the Americas. And by the way, this is said when America does not even have the ability to enforce it. At this time, the United States is not any kind of military power. Now look at the territory of the United States at this point. This is before the Mexican Cession. This is before a lot of the territorial gains. We don't have a navy. We don't have an army. We can't enforce this against Spain, against France, against the United Kingdom, against Russia. But it's a statement of principles. It's aspirational. It says that it's in our best interest that these European countries don't colonize the Americas. That's the only thing that can threaten us. Well, after the Civil War, the United States industrializes. After the Civil War, we lay down the railroad, we build factories, and we build a navy. Our industrial might translates to wealth. Our productive capacity leads to wealth. Wealth leads to military power, specifically naval power. And suddenly we have the ability to enforce the Monroe Doctrine. And then we revise it. And so the Secretary of State, Richard Olney, for the President Grover Cleveland in 1895, modifies the Monroe Doctrine. They call this the Olney interpretation, the Olney, O-L-N-E-Y. This is the corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. Now that we have a Navy, and now that we could actually do something, this is what he says. He reinterprets it. At the turn of the last century, he says, quote, "Today the United States is practically sovereign on this continent, and its fiat, its decree, is law upon the subjects to which it confines its interposition. Why? It is not because of the pure friendship or goodwill felt for it. It is not simply by reason of its high character as a civilized state, nor because wisdom, justice, and equity are the invariable characteristics of the dealings of the United States. It is because, in addition to all other grounds, its infinite resources combined with its isolated position render it master of the situation and practically invulnerable as against any or all other powers." So what he's saying is, we can do whatever we want. We are the most powerful country. We have infinite wealth. We're protected by the oceans. Nobody can challenge us. And so it is a matter of fact that what we say goes. Because who can tell us otherwise? And this is then the basis for the Spanish-American War, where we fight to take Cuba from Spain, and we take the Philippines and Puerto Rico. And this is then the basis with the Roosevelt Quarterly to intervene in all the banana republics in the Caribbean. And then this is the basis for the Truman Doctrine in the 40s and 50s to intervene in Central and Latin America against communist dictatorships. I will add, and this is sort of an interesting note, where does the phrase America First come from? Well, maybe its first historical iteration is the America First Committee, which formed up in the interwar period shortly before the United States entered World War II. And the America First Committee It was a broad coalition. There were liberals, communists, leftists, but they're also fascists, rightists, German-American Bund. Lots of different people came together in the America First Committee to oppose U.S. entry into World War II, specifically the war in Europe, but also the war in the Pacific. And what was their argument? They said that even if the Nazis win, it doesn't matter. We're safe. They said it does not matter what the outcome of the war is in World War II. If the Axis wins, we'll be fine. They're not going to invade us. They can't. The original America First Committee, Henry Ford was a member. Charles Lindbergh was a member. JFK's father was a sympathizer. This is what they wrote about the Monroe Doctrine. They said, quote, this is a speech by Charles Lindbergh to the America First Committee in 1941. He said, there is a policy open to this nation that will lead to success. A policy that leaves us free to follow our own way of life, develop our own civilization. It is not a new and untried idea. It was advocated by Washington. It was incorporated in the Monroe Doctrine. Under its guidance, the United States became the greatest nation in the world. It is based upon the belief that the security of a nation lies in the strength and character of its own people. It recommends the maintenance of armed forces sufficient to defend this hemisphere from attack by any combination of foreign powers. It is a policy not of isolation, but of independence, not of defeat, but of courage. It is a policy that led this nation to success during the most trying years of our history. It is a policy that will lead us to success again. So even the original America First Committee was not against the Monroe Doctrine, not against hemispheric defense. Even they said, we don't want to fight in Europe, we don't want to fight in Asia, but fighting in the Western Hemisphere, well, that is what Americans do. What we've always done. We did it in the Mexican-American War, we did it in the Spanish-American War, we intervened all over the place, and as long as we have the requisite force to defend the hemisphere from any country or combination of countries, we'll be okay. We don't need to worry about the others. And so let's get into that strategic interest. What specifically does this mean? Practically for us.
Jackie boy.
Why did the United States intervene in Cuba in the 1890s? Why did they intervene again in the 1950s and in the 1960s? Why did they intervene in some of these Central American countries? It is because a large volume of trade moves through the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. Something like 40% in terms of volume, not dollar value, of American shipping goes through the Gulf of Mexico. And it goes through narrow choke points between Mexico and Cuba, between Cuba and Florida. How far is Cuba from Florida? It's about 90 miles. People have swam that distance. If there is a rival power in Cuba, in Venezuela, in Mexico, in any of these countries, they could reasonably threaten American shipping. They could potentially deploy weapon systems in reach of the United States. And obviously, that happened in 1962 during the Cuban Missile Crisis when Communist Cuba, after the failure of the Bay of Pigs, asked the Soviet Union for missiles to protect itself. And Nikita Khrushchev deployed nuclear missiles to Cuba within reach of the United States. And this is the most important 13 days in the Cold War. The Soviet Union put weapon systems 90 miles away from Florida that can carry weapons of mass destruction. This is why it is in our strategic interest. Russia is far away. China is far away. Europe, the Middle East, all of that is far away. This is our backyard. I don't think people realize. The Caribbean is our backyard. That is where American shipping goes through. That is where transshipment occurs from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean through the Panama Canal. That's where our Navy goes. And all of these countries are a stone's throw away from the United States. What has been happening in Latin America for the past 25 years? Well, ever since China entered the World Trade Organization in 2001, they have made a concerted effort to impose their will in Latin America. And so what are they doing? They have enrolled the majority of Latin American countries in the Belt and Road Initiative. So they're building infrastructure in Latin American countries. Infrastructure like what? Deep water ports. They're building ports in Jamaica, in Mexico, in Cuba, in Venezuela, in Peru, in Ecuador, in Argentina. They're building ports. Why does that matter? The same deep water ports that can harbor, let's say, some of the largest commercial shipping vessels, the largest, when we are talking about shipping, they carry the most shipping containers. The same ports that can handle that can handle a People's Liberation Navy vessel. And what can you carry even on a commercial shipping vessel? You can carry a containerized missile system. What China has invented is a shipping container that contains an intermediate range missile launching platform. And it looks like a shipping container. It looks like any shipping container you see on a truck, on a barge. And inside of it concealed is a missile launch platform. You can put those on a commercial ship. And so there have been studies done by the Center for Strategic International Studies. They say that there are up to 38 ports China has all over the Caribbean, all over Latin America. They call it dual-use infrastructure. It's infrastructure that can be used for commercial purposes, but also have the capability to have military purposes also. In terms of data collection, power projection, they could theoretically have a military vessel there. 38 of them, and some of them strategically placed in the Caribbean. And if you look at what is happening over in China, everybody knows that the clock is running out on a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Xi Jinping and Beijing have said they have set a deadline for 2027. That is the latest or the earliest that they want to be prepared for China to invade Taiwan. So what? Why does that matter, people say? We have contained China for years by controlling a chain of islands that stretches from Japan in the north all the way down to Malaysia in the south and includes Taiwan. We have effectively boxed China in, controlling islands, making it so that the only way China can access the Pacific Ocean is through small choke points. Small choke points that we can monitor, that we can control. It's practical for us to do so. It's economical. If China takes Taiwan, and all signs point toward they're going to try, and they will be successful, this is a breakout. China takes Taiwan, now the whole Pacific Ocean is wide open to them. There's submarines, aircraft carriers, destroyers. It'll be difficult to monitor. It'll be difficult to deter. And once they're wide open in the Pacific, who's to say they don't deploy strategic assets into Latin America? These are countries that have an enormous amount of debt to China. China is a partner or have an interest in these infrastructure projects. These infrastructure projects can be used against the United States, whether it's ports, it could also be radar dishes, space station. Some of it acts as actually sovereign soil. And now that China is the largest trading partner for a majority of Latin American countries, they can exert considerable political pressure over all of them. So it's like I said before, the immediate loser, the immediate effect of the intervention in Venezuela is Cuba. Cuba loses the oil. Cuba loses an ally. They are forced to the table to negotiate. This is part of a shorter-term domino theory approach to break the back of some of our worst adversaries in the Caribbean and Latin America. But the big picture here is that we are in World War III. Or World War IV, however you count them. We are currently engaged in a great power struggle with China. That's what all of this is about. And what the United States is doing is getting its strategic house in order. We have neglected Latin America for 25 years. The United States has allowed China to gain a foothold, in large part because we gave up. George W. Bush was focused on the Middle East. When Obama got in office, his Secretary of State, John Kerry, said the era of the Monroe Doctrine is over. We're not going to intervene in these countries. And so basically, while we were sleeping or while we were involved in Israel's wars, we let a dragon into our hemisphere. This is our fortress. This is our home base. This is all we got to worry about is these two continents, North and South America. That's where our trade occurs. That's where our supply chains are located. That's where our shipping happens. These are the important waterways. This is the important territory. This is what is proximate to us in our neighborhood. And while we were focused all the way over in Iraq and Afghanistan building a democracy, China was engaging in a trade offensive, an infrastructure and political offensive in these countries, peeling them away from us, planting a flag, such that if or when a breakout occurs in the Pacific, they could theoretically use it as a foothold against the United States. You don't have to worry about China if they are constrained within the first island chain. But they have global ambitions, and they just released another white paper on Latin America. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what the end game is with these infrastructure projects that have dual use. You think this is benevolent? You think this is charitable? You think this is ideological? Like everything, it is strategic. And so if you are America first, then you understand that the U.S. government, its first and only priority is to ensure the survival of the United States. We have to secure our vital strategic interests, which are geographical, which are the waterways and territory close to the United States. We want to prevent these weapon systems from getting too close to us, whether they be containerized missile systems, nuclear missiles. We want to prevent China from getting information on us through these ports, radar dishes, whatever. We want to be prepared for the future of strategic competition with China. And so for that reason, I support this. I support the new Monroe Doctrine. What's more, it's cheap, it's quick, we got what we wanted, we got out. The last thing I'll say about all of it is, what is the future going to hold? And I said in the build-up to this operation, I said I don't support an invasion of Venezuela. Venezuela is a big country, 29 million people. It's like about the size of Texas. The terrain is difficult. You have a lot of cities, a lot of jungle terrain. I don't think it's a good idea to put 100,000 troops in Venezuela in these guerrilla battles, fighting the remnant of the Maduro regime. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't even really think regime change is a good idea. I said last year, what I supported was the Rick Grenell deal. Rick Grenell worked out a deal where Maduro would remain, but he would give us their oil, give us their gold, change the laws, reorient from Beijing and Moscow to Washington. I said we should just take the deal. Forget about the military intervention. Just take the deal. A military intervention will be costly, time-consuming, absorb energy. It's uncertain whenever you roll the dice like that. And it seems like what we got is something in the middle, which is we are doing the deal. Washington is working with this Venezuelan regime. This Vice President Delcy Rodriguez is visiting. There isn't this immediate impetus for a democratic transition. We just want to work with them on these strategic interests. And you know what? Taking swift, decisive military action, if that puts the fear of God in these other countries, if a demonstration of force reinforces deterrence, diminishes miscalculations, incentivizes friends to cooperate, enemies to stand down, then I think that it's absolutely worth it. And you got to keep in mind, a lot of people, they memorize these anti-war arguments. They said, war is always bad. Anything the government does is bad. It's all bad. It's all Iraq. Iraq was a ground war with 300,000 soldiers. It's still going on today, 25 years, cost us $3 trillion. This operation lasted 2.5 hours, maybe cost $1 billion. Okay? So, do the math on that. 1 billion versus 3 trillion. I saw somebody today say it's costing us $9 million a day. Do the math. Iraq cost us 3,000 times more. This cost us nothing. Okay, we sent $3.8 billion to Israel. It doesn't affect us. This is a $1 billion operation, lasted 2.5 hours. If it carries with it some benefit for the United States, pressure on Canada, pressure on Cuba, reinforced deterrence, put China on notice. And here's another thing. This operation took place when the Chinese delegation was negotiating with the Maduro regime. I don't know if that was an accident, Trump seems to do this all the time. He bombed Syria when the Chinese were at Mar-a-Lago, kidnaps Maduro when they're in Caracas. It puts them on notice too. And so I'm totally in favor of it, unless, of course, it goes off the rails. And Trump did say there's not a lot of certainty here about what comes next. Initially, Trump said we will directly administer Venezuela. We're not opposed to boots on the ground. I don't like the sound of that. That sounds like an overcommitment. But if what this entails is a blockade, all we have to do is maintain a naval presence there. And that is just classic gunboat diplomacy. We get them to do what we want, stop sending oil to Cuba, send less of it to China, more of it to us, let ExxonMobil come in or whatever, then I'm in favor of it. And I think that it's easily defensible under America First. But as I said before, the problem is so many of you people, and I'm speaking to many of you, but in general, so many people that have come to criticize Israel, they never let go of their ideological priors. This is the last thing I'll say, then we'll get into super chats. Last thing I'll say is this. So many people got involved. You got red-pilled last year. You got red-pilled 2 years ago. I've been doing this for 10 years. Other people have been doing it longer than that. Some people got red-pilled a year ago, and they were liberal normies. Disgruntled liberal normies. And why did they come over? They said Israel's committing a genocide. That's true. It's barbaric. It has to do with Jewish supremacy. But of course, the real problem with America is that we have a Jewish oligarchy that is making us pay for it. They couldn't do it without us paying for it. And so properly understood, this has everything to do with nationalism. It's from an America First axiom. You say, how can a country put its people first if it has this parasitic class, if it has this fifth column of people that are loyal to another state and seem to be operating their own ethnic policy to rise through the ranks, gain power in the United States, and then use our country for the benefit of some other country or for the Jewish community at large. But many people that got involved are simply being manipulated by, as I said, ideological communists, liberals, Islamists. Muslims hate Israel because their homeboys are being killed. They hate America too. I saw Sneeko did an interview with Daniel Hakikajo, who's a Muslim. And, you know, he's a nice guy. I've talked to him before. I don't hate the guy. But he says to Sneeko, you know, the West has terrorized the world for 200 years. They need to be knocked down a peg. Is that America First? A Muslim with allegiance to foreign countries that has this axe to grind because of his own tribal. Is that America First? No. But it's people like that that have ideologically captured disgruntled normies. Disgruntled normies say, hey, sums up with Israel. And they're downloading all this content from disgruntled Muslims, commies. I look at a guy like Jeffrey Sachs, Max Blumenthal. You two are on notice. Max Blumenthal and Jeffrey Sachs, they make appearances on Judge Napolitano, Tucker Carlson, but they're both left-wing Jews. So Max Blumenthal says that when ICE arrests illegals, he says that's terror capitalism. Terror capitalism. Okay, so what are you, some kind of fucking Jew communist? Oh, but he's really based on Israel. Yeah, he's based on Israel because he's a liberal, and he thinks that Netanyahu is like the white supremacist of Israel. My first exposure to Max Blumenthal is when he did a hit piece about David Irving for the SPLC 20 years ago. Anybody catch that? Or did you just catch him on Judge Knapp because you were born yesterday? You know, when you were reading The Gray Zone and watching Max Blumenthal, I'm sure you saw all of his intense and fact-based takedowns of Israel. Did you catch the part when he was calling Dave Irving a Nazi for the SPLC 20 years ago? Did you catch that part? Or what's going on there? How about Jeffrey Sachs, another Jew, another liberal Jew? He's crying, literally blood coming out of his eyes, crying and shitting and pissing his pants about how bad Israel is. He's literally shaking. And he's so mad we went into Venezuela. What did he say in Serbia a couple weeks ago? He said, the era of European domination is coming to an end and it can't come soon enough. Just rub your hands together, Jeff. Jeff, Max, just rub your little hands together. Jeffrey Sachs, Oh, he's based on Israel. I'm on Tucker. I'm on Judge Knapp. I'm literally shaking about how mad I am about Netanyahu. Watch his other stuff. These people are not our friends. Liberals, leftists, communists, Islamists, not our friends. Marriage of convenience, propel an Israel critical narrative, like, okay, sure. But at the end of the day, you know, if a right-wing nationalist faction takes power and we throw off Israel, these Muslims are going to want to stay. And they're still mad. Okay, and these left-wing people, they're not going to want us to get our way in the world. They're going to want us to petition the United Nations. Hey, can we please do what we want? And that's not America first. So, you know, a lot of people got it twisted and said, oh, my only defining characteristic is it's just Jews in Israel. And it's like, no, it's Jews in Israel because I'm America first, because I'm an identitarian. We are a part of European Christian civilization. We are citizens of the United States of America. We have an identity. We have interests. We should put ourselves first. Stop blaming ourselves. Stop being ashamed of ourselves. Stop rooting for our own demise. Stop listening to people that hate us, whether they're liberal Jews, billionaire Jews, whether they're Muslims, whether they're Jewish communists. We have to stop listening to people that hate us, that are trying to get us to advocate against our own best interests. I'm not going to be the white guy at a fucking BLM protest. I'm not going to be a white guy in a keffiyeh at a pro-Palestine protest, and I said that very vocally. I'm going to be a white guy putting America first. Okay? So, that is increasingly a problem, and I've identified that. And that's why I say this year is going to be a year of refining our ideology, because it's cropped up in a few different ways. Charlie Kirk gets killed by a leftist, because that's real. There are tranny leftist pieces of shit that want to kill Charlie Kirk because he's a transphobe. Whatever you believe about what happened, they all celebrated. But the communists and the Muslims said, no, blame it on Israel, because they don't give a shit about that. And when this woman got shot in the face when she got mag dumped by ICE, all the usual suspects, oh, this is like, no, ICE is like the Zionist police force. They were trained by the IDF. Trained by the IDF. This fucking stupid bitch wants you dead. Like, if we gave the country to her, she would crash it into the rocks intentionally and giggle while she did it. Like, are you kidding me? Yes, we want mass deportations. No, I don't care if some libtard protester gets shot because she blocks federal law enforcement. And no, I don't think that Venezuela has anything or much to do at all with Zionism. So it needs to be put in its proper place. I'm not captured by that. I won't let this movement be captured to that. You want to be an anti-colonialist. You want to be an Islamist. You want to, raise up your stick for Yahya Sinwar. Knock yourself out. I raise up the American flag. I raise up the cross. It is about what is best for America. It is about what is best for people with our passports, what our ancestors did, what is good for our posterity. That's Monroe Doctrine. That's what the America First Committee said 80 years ago. Hemispheric defense. That's our strategic doctrine. So, anyway, so that's that. That is my full take on Venezuela. I think that's everything I have to say about it. I didn't even get to a lot of this stuff. I just went off the dome. But we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. And we're going to have to filter them because we got a lot of them. Before we do, though, I do just want to give a quick tribute. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering. Before we do get on into the super chats, I do just want to give you some bad news. Very tragic and very sad. One of the friends of the show, really an amazing woman, Christine from Ohio, died last week. And for those that watch the show and you watch the super chats, I'm sure you knew her. She was one of the highlights of the show. Very sweet and very patriotic and very funny. And she was one of the longtime viewers of the show, and we had a very funny rapport. She was really a part of the show. Every night we count on Christine from Ohio. And, I hate a lot of the super chats that I get, but I really had a soft spot for her. And sadly, she was diagnosed last year with pancreatic cancer, very aggressive. I don't want to air out all her business and everything, but I'm sure some of you guys have heard of it. And it took her very quickly in about 7 months. So I just want to say rest in peace to Christine. I don't even know her last name. We only knew her as Christine from Ohio. It's Christine Kasubiensky. So if you could say a prayer for the repose of her soul, for her family. And I have to say, I considered her a friend. Unfortunately, I never got to meet her. We were going to come out in December. She took this vacation. We were going to come out in January. And, you know, you always think you have more time. It's so sad. We all think we have time. And she went so quickly. So it's a horrible situation. I'm praying for her. For her family, it's a regret that I never got to go out there, and it's a shame we had these hats made for her. I'm sure she would have gotten a kick out of it. We were going to go out in January. We had these hats made. They say Ohio first, pink, Ohio State flag. They said Christine. So it's one of those things, you know. But if you're a Christian, the comfort that you can take is knowing that she is in a better place. She is with God now. She was a good person. She knew it was coming, so I'm sure she got right with God. And we'll miss her. We'll miss her on the show. It's not going to be the same without her. So I'll try to be a little bit nicer in the spirit of Christine. I know she would have wanted it, but I'm going to miss her, you know. I know she left an impression on everybody on the show. The way that people rallied around her, donated to the GoFundMe, and went and visited her food truck, and everybody was so nice. It was really touching to see. It's definitely one of the better faces of the Groypers, the way we rallied around her. So anyway, so God bless her. We're praying for her. Rest in peace. We're going to miss you. And I'll put her hat over here. We'll put her up here. I'll try to be PG and feel bad if it wasn't with the hat here. We'll give her a little spot, a nice little memento here. So rest in peace, Christine. We love you. We'll always love you. We'll always remember you. All right, but we're going to move on. We'll take a look at these super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say. Let's take a look. All right. First super chat's back. I'm going to try to get mentally prepared here. It's been a few weeks. I'd like to hope that maybe I'm, fresh, so I'm not going to crash out immediately, but who knows? I guess we got to see what the quality of the chats is. All right, let's take a look.
Nuke 37 counts at $100. Nikki Baby, thanks for always keeping it 100.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate the big super chat. A lot of these are from December. I'm going to skip ahead to January. I just read that one because it's big. All right.
Muzzy 101 cent $30. Mr. President, Nick Fuentes has gone on vacation. Perfect. Unleash the happenings. Operation Bag the Beaner. Summer of Love 2.0. And Greenland Gambit Ergo. Oh, and sue Jerome Powell.
Dude, literally. Well, what is it with that? It's like every time, without fail. I remember one weekend I was going out to a friend's wedding. It was like a Friday, I think. They overturned Roe versus Wade. I was going out of town to go to a good friend of mine's wedding. Overturned Roe versus Wade that day. I was actually going to go out to visit Christine back in June when she first got the diagnosis. The United States bombed Iran. I remember when Trump met with Kim Jong-un in 2018. I was on vacation. Literally every single time. So, I don't know. I guess they have a line in at America First. They're like, oh, dude, Mr. President. Okay, we confirmed. He left the house. He's on vacation. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Cars said $20. Nick, when is the next pack? Will it be racially segregated?
I don't know if we're going to do one, honestly. Look, there was a time when it made sense to do AFPAC, but I really think might be a liability now, and I'll tell you why. One, I think that the violence is going to increase. The last AFPAC, we had to literally call the FBI because there were serious threats of violence at the conference. And after Charlie Kirk, it's just you're begging to get murdered. So I'm a little wary. Maybe more importantly, though, number two, because you could take security precautions, but number two, what I'm really worried about is people getting doxxed. And we have a lot of powerful people on our side now. Like, you'd be surprised. And I don't want them all in one place assembled for some idiot to take everybody's picture by accident even. because that happens. Sometimes a journalist will go and try to take a picture of everybody, and sometimes idiots are filming in the middle of it, and they're getting everybody's face, and you're like, what are you doing? This is like a secret meeting. So we unfortunately have to go underground for a few reasons, and I'd like to do it. Don't get me wrong, I love to do it. It's fun. And I'm thinking about how we could put it together in some way. Maybe we do a series of smaller events. Because I love to see people. I love to get everybody connected. It's really a big value. Because for a lot of people, this is the most exciting thing going for them. Like, their life sucks, their job sucks, like they're just bitter. And they get to go to AFPAC, and it's like, okay, well, like the revolution's happening. So the community aspect is very important. But at this stage in the game, I think that takes a backseat to the strategic imperative. We'll see, though. It will not be racially segregated, okay? Niggas welcome. Niggas welcome. Just, mind your manners. Okay? Be a credit. Niggas are invited to AFPAC. Just, hey, be polite. If you want to go and be black, you want to go and black it up, I don't need to tell you this. Maybe I do. But just, act like you've been there before, Because you say niggas can come to AFPAC, and then they're going to come in. They're going to say, where's the Hennessy? And it's going to look like a Carnival cruise. We don't want AFPAC to become a Carnival cruise. We don't want it to become Mecca or Medina. We don't want it to become the barrio. You go, you're expected to act like a white person. You could go and not be white, but you have to act white. That's the only exception. You can be not white. I don't mind if you're not white. Just please act white. Just act like you're a white person, okay? Just be polite, chew with your mouth closed. Indoor voices, be considerate, please and thank you, hold the door open. Be a gentleman. That's all. Other than that, knock yourself out.
Cookie Baking Granny sent $100. The great state of Ohio lost a great lady with Christine's passing. Thanks for continuing to keep us grounded and keeping in touch with us in the group chat during your generational rest. Great show tonight. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the big super chat. They really did, And she was such a credit because, not to glaze, but it's kind of a silly thing to say, but so many people say about us that we are these bitter, hateful, loser white men. That's what they say. They say you're just some incel in your basement that is a loser and you suck. This is a mother, a veteran of the Air Force, a patriot. This is like a real salt-of-the-earth person. Just goes to show, this is a movement of families. This is and I know I'm like a weird guy. I'm like not always endorsing everything I do and say. I'm, a deeply flawed person. But honestly, I think a lot of you are better than me, and I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. I want what's best for you. I want what's best for the country. I look at the way the country is failing people. And whether you're a man or woman, young or old, whatever you are, the message is simple. We want God at the center of our society. We want Jesus Christ at the center of our society. We want a decent society that is based on selfless love. That's what Christ is. That's what he embodies. And we want a country of order, sanity, virtue, decency. We want a country that we're proud of. And you're not a loser for wanting that. You're not bitter for wanting that. I mean, you're not a loser. It's so funny how these people will say, you're a bitter loser, you're in your parents' basement, and then they turn around and try to, say, hey, buddy, the reason you can't afford a house and health care is because of the Democrats. It's like, I'm sorry, weren't you just calling me a loser? This generation is a victim of these policies of free trade, of all, not to get political on it, but of all this stuff, and then you turn around and say, oh, well, you're a loser. Sorry, the unemployment rate's 4.5%. The job market's the worst it's been in 20 years. What do you mean? So not for nothing. They say that. It's okay, so you just hate your own people? But just goes to show, we have some gems, and Christine was one of the best. We love her. But thank you, Cookie Baking Granny. You're another one. You're another gem. So many gems, shining bright for all to see.
People who are based calling you and take chills for your Venezuela stance. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a quote from 2023 where you said instead of invading Iraq for Israel, let's invade Venezuela and take their oil. I stand with you in the top G always. Salute face emoji.
Fuck.
Well, I said it in 2019. There's a clip, and look, I don't watch my show from 7 years ago. There's a show that I did in 2019. I said bar for bar, literally bar for bar. I say Venezuela's our legitimate sphere of influence. It's not neoconservatism. This is a Monroe Doctrine. I said I don't favor an invasion, but I favor a way we could get their oil. I mean, like bar for bar. And then you have these idiots. They got red pilled 2 minutes ago, and they're like, I miss the old Nick. The old Nick? What are you talking about? You got red pilled in July, you fucking stupid idiot. I see that on Instagram and TikTok. I miss the old Nick. The old Nick. I've been in favor of that for 10 years. When did you get red pilled? 6 minutes ago? 6 or 7 minutes ago? Did you, Lo Kirkwinley, get fucking red pilled 6 or 7 minutes ago in the Big 26, you fucking dumbass? So, that's crazy. I miss the old Nick. The old Nick would never. The old Nick from what? August? Been saying it for 7 years. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Brown teenagers are like, I miss the old Nick. Okay, ICE is coming for you, man.
Rape Sneeko sent $100.
Hey, thank you for the big super chat. We like Sneeko. I like Sneeko. I was watching Sneeko stream on Kick yesterday. I kept typing. He didn't even notice. I watched the Sneeko stream. I'm a fan. I watched Clavicular stream. I'm a fan. I was going to text him and say, hey, let's play Phasmophobia, but I didn't know if he wanted to play with me or not. I don't know. But I watched the stream. I watched him on Monkey. I watched him on all that. No, we like Sneeko. Even though we disagree, even though Sneeko is drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit on Venezuela, I still love the guy. He's a good guy. He's a funny guy. He's a good streamer. I got to get on Kick. My next play is I'm taking over Kick. I'm going to take over Kick. 2026, more gaming streams, more commentary. I'm taking over Kick. I want a deal. Aiden, hook me up. Make me a partner. I don't know what is going on there, but I want a Kick deal. I want to earn on Kick. I know I would be the biggest streamer there. Please, hook a brother up. Hook a brother up, my friend. Please, Aiden Ross, if you can hear me, please save me. Please, Aiden Ross, get me a partnership on Kick. But I want to take over. We'll see, though. But hey, shout out Sneeko. He said he was glad that I'm coming back. We love Sneeko. You know, he's one of my older friends in this thing. Like, we've been friends for almost 4 years. It's a long time. We've been through a lot together. You know, his whole cancellation and return, my cancellation and return, the whole yay thing. Like, you know, we've been in the trenches together. So.
Judy Hobbs
That's the
$4.
homie.
Hey Nick, I'm wondering if you'd ever open up a brick-and-mortar shop for AF merch. In fact, I know a perfect building in downtown Saginaw, Michigan that I could get you very cheap rent in. I would even stand outside of security for the store, in case it got dangerous. DM me for more info. Hope you enjoyed your vacation.
Why? So it could get, like, firebombed by Antifa? Yeah, let's open up a store so that people could case it and, like, burn it to the ground or kill everybody.
Melbourne Grow Ever sent $20.
You're not getting it, bro.
Melbourne Grow Ever sent $20. Would you support a Schengen-style
We're an
freedom
invisible
agreement between
empire.
America and other majority-wide Western countries, especially if they get their own migration issues under control?
That's a pretty big if. That's a pretty big if. We sort of already have, I forget what it's called, there's already a program like that where these people can move around without a ton of oversight. I mean, how many visas do we reject from some of these European countries? Like 10%. So, maybe, I don't know. It depends. I do think that we should make an effort to become an empire. Like, we should really connect to Western Europe with hypersonic jets, with, you know, we should connect to Canada with high-speed rail. Like, we should really work to integrate all of that. I'm a believer.
Ujeswell sent $20. Welcome back, Poppy Chulo.
Very good.
Spencer Dixon sent
Thanks a
$25.
lot.
Trump's proposal to ban large corporations from buying single-family homes is a lie. He's going to backpedal in stocks like Blackstone, whose CEO is a major Trump and GOP Jewish donor, who bounce back later, essentially a repeat of last year's Liberation Day with tariffs for all his friends wanted him.
I agree, but we'll cover it later in the week.
99 sent $20. Hope you enjoyed your break. Can't believe I saw you in New York at a restaurant. Didn't want to disturb your meal of Davern-style pizza and catfish you were just going to town on.
Okay, so that's an inside joke from the group chat. Charming. We love
Raven's
that.
Werewolf sent $100. Hey Nick, please come to Arizona. I'd love to have coffee and donuts with you in Arizona. Also, I'd love you to meet my wife. She's the funniest person I know.
Okay, that's bait. No, that's bait. Thank you for the big super chat, dude. My back hurts. I started working out the other night, and I'm like physically dying. I had one of those like manic bursts of motivation. I was like, I'll do some pull-ups and push-ups, and I'm like in serious pain. Too old for this. Just put my brain in the robot already. Take out my brain, make the robot 6'3". Put my brain in the robot. I'm done with this shit. Peter Thiel, if you can hear me, put my brain in the robot. My lower back hurts. It all hurts. But, we got to do it. We got to get our heart rate up. We got to get it going. For our race. For the race war.
Jeremy Wallace sent $20. Good to have you back. Yours is the only show I allow my wife to watch.
Oh, great. She like it?
Baked Beans 67 sent $20. Hi Nick, it's great to see you back. I heard you were still looking for a wife. Would you ever go for a ladyboy? You get the best of both worlds. We could be known as Two Dick Nick. I love you so much.
I feel like it's kind of the worst of both worlds, in a way. And I will not elaborate on that at all. But it actually seems like the worst of both worlds, don't you think?
Kind of the opposite. $20. His wife died in the honey.
Yeah, I saw that. That's hilarious. George Floyd, 1 month sniz free. You lick sniz. Dude, George Floyd licks sniz. Pass it on, dude. Hey. George Floyd licks sniz. Pass it on. Tell your friends. Yo. George Floyd licks sniz. How can you, dude, anyone that is sympathetic about that, fuck you. No offense. I saw Tucker. Tucker was like, whatever you believe, it's a tragedy. Dude, it so isn't. She was probably the dumbest bitch you ever met. Look at her face. Look at her stupid fucking pumpkin-headed bitch face. We've all seen that face. At like a parent-teacher conference, at a grocery store. She's like a prototypical bitch Karen. She's got the nose ring, the short hair, totally fat. Her eyes are crazy. She's a lesbian. And people go, this is a tragedy. Like, what? For who? No, I'm sorry. There's nothing tragic about that. We're better off. Like, seriously. Like, this is the most insufferable liberal bitch ever. She's like 37. What's the excuse? She's not a 16-year-old that got radicalized in high school. She's not a 19-year-old that got radicalized in college and got a tattoo. It's not a phase. 37-year-old grown woman. It's the middle of the work week. Your kids are in school. You're in another state. And you're LARPing as resistance, blocking the traffic for ICE. What the fuck is wrong with you? Who does that? Like, some people might say it's a tragedy. Ask yourself, who does that? Does anybody that you know, would your wife, would any friend, like couple that you know, would any of the women that you know be doing this? Would they go to an ICE protest? It gets exposed that this criminal population that shouldn't even be here is scamming the taxpayer out of millions of dollars. They don't even like us. ICE goes in to get to the bottom of it. Your first instinct is not only to protest, but to throw yourself in front of the cops. What is wrong with you? And these fucking idiots think it's a game. They think it's just anyhow. What are you doing? You're in the middle of the street blocking traffic. That's federal law enforcement. That is federal law enforcement doing the duty of federal law enforcement. And you think you're going to block traffic with that? Like, imagine if you saw someone in a traffic stop with the local police and you drove up and tried to get in the middle of it. Like, you understand you would forfeit your life, right? If you drove up on a traffic stop with your car and were like, hey, stop this, get your hate speech off the campus, like, you would be forfeiting your life. Oh, but because it's ICE, it's anyhow, it's the Hunger Games? No, I'm sorry, we're better off. One less stupid bitch in the world, honestly. And, I don't know, it's just so naive. It's like, seriously. I know that sounds horrible to say out loud, but it's just true. These people are hurting us. Like, these people are hurting our country. These people are insane. You know, like this psycho wants abortion, wants to cut your kid's penis off, wants the country to be raped to death by immigrants. They're throwing themselves in front of ICE. Are you kidding me? This is a tragedy. Why? For who? It's going to be one less Hunger Games viewing party or whatever. Like, for crying out loud. And I'm not that guy that, like, devalues human life or whatever, but holy shit, people. You're going to have to toughen up. Like, we're in a war for our country. This, like, irredeemable scumbag gets shot, totally justified, and people go, oh my gosh, it's a tragedy. People are comparing it. Our own side is comparing it to Ashley Babbitt, calling ourselves hypocrites. This is why we lose. The left doesn't care. They just kill everybody. The left wants you dead. Like when Charlie Kirk died, they laughed. And Charlie Kirk got shot doing nothing wrong. Like he's doing his thing, totally legal. He's at an event and he gets sniped in the face because he's a transphobe. This woman is blocking federal law enforcement. She gets a lawful order from the cops, speeds up, doesn't get out of her car, park the car. She tries to get away, gets shot. And people go, you know, we're really hypocrites if we don't. It's like, what? I don't want to be in a foxhole with you. Time to nut up, man. There will be more of it. There will be more of this before this is over. You think that any of these people would cry if ICE died? ICE is getting shot. ICE is getting shot all the time. ICE is getting shot at, blown up, boxed in. The guy that shot her was dragged by a car earlier in the year. Like, you see what happens? If they had it their way, they would be murdering ICE and their families. They dox them. So, you know, you got to nut up a little bit. So, anyway, we'll talk more about that this week. But I was genuinely shocked at some of the response. Not from Tucker, that tracks, but some of these other people. You know, they're posting Hitler videos all day. A left-wing protester dies. They go, this is a tragedy. It's like, what? No, it really isn't, dude. Anyway, well, we'll get into that more later in the week. I don't want to say everything I got to say about that.
18 cent $20. Welcome back. Your break was good. Can't wait to see what you have in store for 2026 anyways. George Floyd died of an overdose and has just deported that crazy bitch straight back to hell.
Yeah, well, it's God's job to forgive her. It's ICE's job to send her to him. Such a shame.
Remember Dad 18 cent $20. Welcome back.
That's a duplicate.
Doodle Dream sent $20. Nick, welcome back. Smile if you had a good couple weeks with your folks. What's your go-to coffee order / drink? Not to be gay, but I'm curious.
Why is that gay? What's your coffee order? Not that I'm a homosexual, it's attracted to men or anything, but like, what type of coffee do you like? I don't know. My mind didn't go there. Niggas be like, what type of coffee do you like? I don't know. I like just drip coffee. You know, if I go to Starbucks, I just get coffee. I like a latte. You know, I'll go in for a latte. But the problem is I'm a little bit, sometimes the milk doesn't sit well with me, like it makes me sleepy. So if I really want to get animated, there's not enough caffeine and the milk makes me tired. So sometimes I just go for an Americano or drip coffee. Okay? That better? Do you like that? Are you happy now? Are you happy that you know my coffee order now? Why, so you could kill me?
100 rats sent $20. Go. Now, attack Amalek and win the man everything he has. Do not spare him. Kill men and women, children and infants. 1 Samuel 15:3. Our time will come soon, others.
Yeah, I don't love that verse. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's not like a lot of good explanations for it. Not just so many seeds of doubt, but I looked into that and I always just assumed there was a really good answer, but I looked into it. And all the great Catholic theologians are like, they probably didn't really mean it. You know, it's like the Old Testament says, like, kill everybody, kill them all, kill their infants. And you're like, you know, I don't know about that. And you go to St. Augustine, you go to Aquinas, and you go, how do you account for this? And they say, well, it's probably metaphorical, surely. You're like, oh, okay, if you say so. I believe in the rest, so I just, I'll take your word for it. Because it's not great. Like, it's not a great, not to be I suppose this is blasphemous and sacrilegious, but, like, yeah, it's not the best verse. It's not my favorite verse, But to each their own. It's Ben Shapiro's favorite verse.
Yeah, wait, said $20.
Kill everybody. You're a moral idiot. You're a moral imbecile. Kill everybody. Like, that's Ben Shapiro's favorite.
Yeah, wait, said $20. I'm a 2X brain cancer survivor. Praise God. After they made me a vegetable for treatment, and I recovered, I have to wonder, is there a cure for cancer?
I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask. But is that real? That sounds fake. But God bless if that's real.
Lola Perez sent $25. Would you consider selling AF beanies for us growing pets?
Maybe that'd be kind of hot. That'd be kind of hot, like, in a beanie. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I want to sell anything for women. I don't know, guys. Well, we'll see, maybe. We'll see.
Average John 93 said $100. Welcome back. Hope you're well rested to take on 2026 and everything it brings. Christ is king.
Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, it's good to be back.
Jen Ciclone sent $30. Run for governor in Illinois. You'll get my vote. Fred Flintstone needs to go.
Yeah, that'll go well. In like a blue state.
Vito 25 sent $20. Venezuela. If mine is right, then you deserve getting fucked by Jews every day. You're not smart. Just stupid cuts overruled by them. High IQ ass. Liberate the U.S. first. Welcome back, Nick.
Yeah, no one is saying might makes right. We're saying power is a reality. You understand the difference? It's not to say that might, like whoever's more powerful, is correct. It's just a question that power is a reality that we have to deal with. And, morality is social. And to the extent that we now organize society in large, complex states, we have to think about these things. So, I don't believe that might makes right at all. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that might is something that, we have to deal with in the world. And it's easy for, all these other people to say, oh, well, we should just do what I think is moral. It's like, okay, but you don't have the lives of hundreds of millions of people in your hands. Your job isn't to look out for them, and so on and so forth. So, I think we have to be practical.
Pete Rovel 69 sent $20. Yo, Nick, thank you for XL shirts. I'm 6'4". Cute bonfire in Miami. We will all be wearing your merch and repping it. We are fully indulging in a Goislov fest. You have a spot at the Airbnb, brother.
All right. Miami, let's go. 6'4". Bros in the chat. Well, I love to hear you wearing the merch. Party in Miami sounds awesome, man. Sounds fun. Love Miami. Great city. I met a friend of mine in Miami. I wonder if he's watching. Martin? I met somebody recently in Miami. I don't want to... The dogs. Like, I was at a restaurant, and this guy came up, and he's like, I'm a big fan of the show. And he knew all about geopolitics. He was telling me all about Miami. Cool guy. Thanks for watching. Shout out, Martin. I didn't watch... He told me to watch Cocaine Cowboys on Netflix. I didn't watch it yet, but... Good dude. So I love Miami. It's a fun city. Great city. But good to know. Maybe I'll pull up.
Base Irish Templar sent $20. Nick, please don't steal my Black Queen Ray Valentina. I like her first. Crying face emoji. I know you have way more clout than me, but we all want you to smooth things over with Caddis. That's endgame. Leave some Black Queens for the rest of us, please. I thought we were ascending in 2026. You can't be getting addicted to chocolate RM.
I know. Look, I'm trying to get over someone else. And, the best way to rebound is to, kind of go for the next best thing, right? Not going to name any names, but I know it's not going to happen with this other girl I was talking to. I had to go for the next best thing. And, look, I'll say this much. Man can do what he wills. He cannot will what he wills. Schopenhauer. You can do what you will. You can't will what you will. Okay? You want what you want. You can't control it. And, so Ray Valentina, hey.
What the fuck?
What's up? Hey, how you doing? What's good? What you got going on? No, but that was crazy. Ray Valentina, that that was actually kind of did something to me. That video, I kind of liked it. She's kind of more badass than Candace Owens, who even needs her. Anyway.
Signature Sound said $20. Mark Levin says
Nobody.
Roseanne says you're going to beg and repent. If it were up to them, we'd be wiped out.
Yeah, it's really striking how hateful they are. When you listen to Mark Levin and Roseanne Barr, they are what everyone thinks I am. You tune into this show and you expect me to be like, I hate everybody. Like, because everybody says, oh, he's this Nazi, and it's like, I'm like, kind of, no, but everybody thinks I'm a certain kind of person, but I think I'm really generally good-humored person, affable. I'm not like a complete idiot like some of these people that don't even read. And then you watch Roseanne Barr and Mark Levin, and they're totally insane. Mark Levin every day is like, I hate you, and I hate you, and you need to die. You're a degenerate imbecile. It's just like all this venom from Mark Levin. He's the most hateful person I've ever heard of. One of the most hateful Nazis I've ever heard of. It's crazy. And Roseanne Barr's right there with him. Roseanne Barr, you'll be begging, you'll fall, you'll all beg for forgiveness. Like, whoa, like the power tripping is crazy. These people are really fucked up. By these people, I mean Jews. Deeply fucked up.
$20 monthly dues. You motivated me to start going to church again and check out a Catholic church for once. Keep up the great work.
Love it. Love to hear it, man. Best thing you can do for yourself. Because if there's anything that you can take from grief, from a tragedy, it's that nothing is promised. Nothing is promised. It is, you don't have anything. You don't have your life. You don't have your love. You don't have your money, your job. None of it is yours. And it can be taken at any time, any of it. So, get right with God. Take it a day at a time. Worry about doing the right thing. It's easy to forget. It's easy to get caught up in politics. It's easy to get caught up in anything. But you have to always go back to our mortality. We try to get away our whole lives from our mortality. We hope it'll be another day. We'll die another day. We won't die today. We'll die some other day. But, it's not up to you. And you don't know. And when it takes over you, all of a sudden, as a surprise, you question everything. And you want to be prepared. Because it's going to happen to all of us. And then everyone's going to forget, So, all the things you think matter don't really matter. So I love to hear it. So go to Catholic Church. If there's one thing you can take from the show in 2026, please consider Catholic Church. Consider the gospel.
Bitch, whore.
Read the gospel. Invite Jesus into your life. Invite God into your life. Start speaking with a moral language. Start listening to your conscience. That's an easy one. Just start listening to your conscience. These things that we do, they don't make us feel good. When we sin, whatever our sins are, they don't make us feel good. You all know. Whatever it is for you. And he starts leading with the conscience. Conscience was inscribed on your heart by God. Start there, and then work your way up from that.
Chris and R sent $50. Hi, Nick. I'm back. My CC I used to donate got blocked by my bank for the reason do not honor. I can still use my credit card for all other purchases, no problem. Jews be Jewing. Julian confetti smile.
I don't know what that means, but sorry to hear that, I guess.
Order Grower sent $25. Love the show and I love the message of taking your own side with America first. Been an avid viewer since October. Should have been sooner. Any thoughts on Fishback and Tucker interview, or are you still gathering intel before commenting?
I really like what I've seen from Fishback. I have to say I'm a bit conflicted still for a few reasons. I don't want to hurt him. That's kind of my first thing, is I don't want to speak out of turn and hurt a politician by association if they're an ally. And the other thing is I didn't vet him myself. But you know what? He seems really smart. I was really impressed with him on Tucker. Very impressed. And I've seen some stuff from him, but his social media is very impressive. His TikTok, his Instagram, I see him everywhere. Very well spoken, very sharp. Funny, too. He said Byron Donalds wants to turn Florida into a Section 8 ghetto. That's hilarious, actually. And the way, I love how matter-of-factly, Byron Donalds wants to turn Florida into Section 8 ghetto. It's so good. So, you know what? I'm pretty impressed with him. I like him, I think. But I got to see. We got to see how the race plays out. But I think he's very impressive. And seems like a stand-up guy.
Ralph sent $25. Me lesbian mom guy in the Hyundai. Noticing since 03 sent $30. God bless you, Nick.
Thank you.
Kristen R sent $50. Al, you would not believe the amount of shit I had to go through to donate that $50 and this $50 for you. I was blocked from banking. I'm on the do not honor list for Chase, Wells Fargo, Amex, Goldman Sachs, Citi,
Wow.
Capital One, Barclays, CNC Bank, PNC
So
Bank.
what's going
Influence
on
Bank.
with you?
I had to go private equity to donate to you. Juice be chewing.
Yeah, that's not really like normal. So what's going on with you? Are you like donating to the Revolutionary Guard or something? Like what's up with that? Were you tied up with the ELN or something? You were over there in Venezuela. Bro's like,
Oh,
the girl got kidnapped. Now my debit card doesn't work. What's up with that? So I don't know. I hope everything's above board over there. I don't know how that
Blaze
happens.
Broker sent $20. We may not have George Floyd or Renee Good or Charlie Kirk, but at least we still have hip hop in a world that's skanking gay. Jack Spector sent $30. Prayers for Christine. She was a real one.
She was a real one. She was the goat.
Kristen R sent $50. I was only able to donate $300 per month until the bank caught on and limited me to $100 a month.
Dude, there's no way that's real. Like, that just sounds crazy to me, but I guess stranger things have happened. That's what happened to me, so.
Billboard meme sent $100. Hello, Nick. I own a billboard company in Georgia and I started running promos for your show
Hey!
on my digital signs. DM Billboard meme on X and send me better ads to run, please. You
Okay.
don't know to see images of ads running. Signs get near 1 million impressions per day. I don't know how else to contact you. Brothers in Christ friend.
Hey, well, thanks a lot. Thanks for the big super chat. We'll definitely do that. Really, see, that's great. I love when people hit me up and they say, here's how I can help you. I have a lot of people that get in my DMs and they say, let me work for you. And it's like, no, like, I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. Tell me what you can do. Why don't you do something? You figure out a project, you do something. There's nothing I love more than when somebody says, I have something, and here's how I'm going to use it to help the movement. Whatever it is. This is a good example. I have a billboard company. I've started running your billboards. Beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That is what we need more of. We need more people to freelance. More people to be independent, take the initiative. I love that. Really good job. I will definitely hit you up, and I thank you for that.
Anders Rubicon sent $100. True or false? 0.999 equals 1.
Oh, I have no idea. Thank you for the big super chat. It's like a theoretical
Quiet
question,
Homestead sent
isn't it?
$20. Recently started watching your show and wish I found it sooner. I wanted to share a channel you might enjoy. Jaeger Z999. He covers historic firearms, and his latest video is especially worth watching.
That sounds like something I'm into, historic firearms. I'm not really like a gun nerd, honestly. I have guns, but I'm not like an enthusiast.
Sunday 2026 sent.
I would like to enthusiastically use them.
Sunday 2026 sent $250. How about Dan Bonjigo shitting his pants at the FBI under the steady leadership of
Crazy.
Assad, and then coming hard to LARP against black pillars? You called it. A transparent attempt to take a shot at AF. Ain't gonna take Neanderthal.
Thank you for the huge super chat. It's so pathetic. And it's so emblematic of this administration. Like, they hire this podcaster to make everybody happy. Oh, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we hire Dan Bongino from Rumble. And you go, okay, but Rubio's the Secretary of State. Radcliffe is the CIA director. Waltz is the NSA. Okay, we got Dan Bongino as deputy. And people go, okay, I guess that's something. And the guy's a mess. He's a mess. It's embarrassing. He's in there saying, I miss my wife and kids. Dude, we're in a war. What do you mean? This is what I say, and people don't like it, but I say that we are in a war, and I tell people, knock yourself out. Have a family. Have a wife and kids. But know that this will demand a lot of you. If you're serious, if you want to make change, it will demand a lot of you. You will have to make sacrifices. You can't, in this life, have everything that you want. And so some people, their end-all be-all is they want this idyllic domestic life where they have more kids than they can afford and all this. Okay, but that person is going to struggle when they try to get involved and it demands a lot from them. Case in point. And this guy's older. He's not a young guy. He's an older guy. Okay, you made it. You're the deputy director of the FBI. Here's some real power. And bro is crying to the media, I miss my wife and kids. It's not like being a podcaster. Bro, you gotta lock in. It's only been a few months. Seriously? These trannies in Silicon Valley, They are on Adderall, and they are working every day to, like, rape everything. They're, like, remember that video from that tranny that was like, the enemies of Ukraine are going to be screaming out as we murder them? Like, these people are nuts. And our, Chad, alpha male, MAGA guys are like, I know I'm the deputy director of the FBI, but I miss my family. Like, dude, lock the fuck in. That is so Jester. So, yeah, now he's out and he's saying, I'm going to come back on the podcast. Dude, what are we doing? I thought that was a means to an end. We got Trump elected, and
Oh,
Trump
come
is
on,
filling his
man.
cabinet with, like, red pill people, like, allegedly. We're going to carry out the golden age, and you bailed. You didn't even make it a year. And he says, I can't believe how much I missed this. Missed what? Bitching? Screaming and yelling? I wish I was the deputy. Could you imagine if I was the deputy director of the FBI?
What kind of weapon
Would
is
you be
that?
arresting so many people? I don't have a wife and kids. I'd just be locked in. I'd just be dialed in. And anyway.
Whatever, you faggot ass nigger.
Yeah, it's totally pathetic and insane, and just, it's
I
hard.
mean, how much? I mean, how the fuck much?
Government. Like, it's just not, this is not a serious movement. MAGA is not serious at all. It just, there is no even plan or serious effort to connect intentions with outcomes. They talk all this big game, they say all this shit, they make all these promises. There is no idea of how to make this reality. They want to get in, throw more parties, raise more money, talk more trash. That's all they care about. And case in point, okay, you made it, and you couldn't even hack it for a year. And now you're at war with all the people that are upset with you. Okay, bro, what are we doing?
Buster Allen sent $20. Shout out to all the Groiper moms, especially.
God damn it.
So true. Call your mom. Call your mom while you can.
You're lost, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Not to be morbid, but it's like, one day you're never going to pick up that call ever again, Isn't that kind of sad?
Bitch ass nigger.
That's why I tell people not to fight.
Faggot ass nigger.
Because when you pick up your iPhone and it says mom calling, one day you'll never get that call ever again. You'll wish for it. And vice versa. You'll wish
He's Steinway. He's a big man. He's a big fucking man.
So you got to think about it like it's a
He did it.
Like, I can go and visit my mom today. I can call my mom. Not to get sappy or whatever, but this Christine thing.
Faggot ass nigger.
Very sad. So, but true. Go to church, call your mom.
Repeal the 19%
Lesson 1, lesson 2.
Yeah, good to hear last stream that you won't wipe up any chocolate. Don't want you to end up like J.D. Vance. One might say he is in a very shitty situation. Do you regret turning down his invite?
Very good. She's not really chopped. She's an okay-looking woman. It's just that she's not white.
Sucks for $20. Welcome back. Go.
Hey,
Cold
good to
Summer
be
sent
back.
$25. Rest in peace, Christine in Ohio.
Yes, rest in peace.
Said $100. Regarding Israel, Venezuela, Matt Walsh said no country has a right to exist if you rely on the patronage, support, and defense of some other country. Then you are a vessel of that country.
So true. Thank you for the big super chat. Absolutely the case.
Here has Jay sent $20. Big show, big beard.
What do you think of the beard? I kind of like it. I wasn't liking it like at home, but seeing it on the screen, I kind of like it. Right? What do you think? Chat, is this Mog? Is this Mog? Am I logging?
No.
Yes, prayers
Richard
up.
13 sent $20. I was thinking about this for a while. Picking between a war with Iran versus a war with Venezuela is like picking something off the King's menu. Everything is the same slop. Unless you take control of the menu and get double Texas toast instead of coleslaw. Think about it.
Oh my God. Ow! Ow! Why does working out hurt? I never work out because it hurts. Yeah, I know. It is like that, isn't it?
Luke sent $30. Keith the Beard King. Also, what is up with Pepper and his weird take on the Minnesota Ice situation?
You know, he's just like a pathological liar.
Rector 13 sent $50. I was thinking about this for a while. Picking between a war with Iran versus a war with Venezuela is like picking something off the King's menu. Everything is the same slop. Unless you take control of the menu and get double
Okay,
Texas
you
toast.
said that
Monkey
already.
Brain sent $25. Please pray for my family. My dad passed away on Christmas Eve. He was a veteran of the invasion of Panama, the Gulf War, the Philippine Civil Conflict, and the Iraq War. After the military, he was a fireman for 20 years. Great guy and one of the only people in my family who wasn't a Zogtard. I miss him already.
Based. Well, I'm sorry to hear that your father passed. Very sad. But hey, thank you for his service. Soldier for America. We love it.
Sent $30. The Joel Webber conversations were greater than
Thanks.
good. W. Bray.
Yeah, that was that collab I did a long time ago. It was a marathon. We shot 10 episodes in 2 days. So, like, by hour 5 on each day, I was just like, bruh. He was yawning. He was making me yawn. No, but it was good. I think it was great. I like him a lot. He's very solid on the issues. I see his tweets, and I'm like, this guy really knows what's up. So, Joel has been great. I really wish him the best with his new network. Because the whole thing is it's this new project he's got going, and I think it's really, I love the studio. It was a pleasure to work with him. He's great. I got nothing but nice things to say. He's awesome.
Kate Hikes 109 sent $20. Her name was George Floyd /
Her name was George Floyd, yeah.
Soggy Biscuit 99 sent $55. No fast food for 2026. Well, here's $55 for your favorite food, which I know is southern fried catfish, collard greens, and cornbread. Share with Candace, as I'm sure she'll want some.
All right, another inside joke from the group chat. It just keeps getting better. I didn't say no more fast food. I just said, like, we're locking in.
Next sign sent $43.
Similar.
The intro to the best of 2025 video made me hard.
Yeah, our guy did a really nice job on it. It took him a long time, but that's okay. I thought it was amazing. So, we made that in-house. Our guy's really talented, just off the charts. We got a team. I think one of the other guys helped with 3D, so really phenomenal work. The unsung heroes, the behind-the-scenes team, yeah. I'm glad you liked it. A lot of people said the same thing. It was amazing.
Cassie O'Groy Breedard sent $21. My goat Nick, a Floridian college student here. After Charlie's murder, I turned to you and I found out the truth.
Man.
Thank you for everything you do, brother. That's all James Fishback. I know you said you don't know much, but I'm wondering if you've researched him a little more.
Every day. It's every day.
Reaper Chop sent $20.
Every day, bro.
A woman in Minnesota actually was trying to get around the ICE agent, but still hit him because she is a woman and bad at driving.
Doesn't matter. Don't
Dr.
care.
Springball sent $50.
Okay, I'm not reading that.
Basil sent $20. Some power money from the pay pigs. Welcome back, gang. Here's to 2026. Much love from Benny.
Hey! Thanks! Good to hear from you, Basil. Basil and Dan. Great show. These guys kept me going during the break. Because all the other content is trash. No, but thank you very much. Basil the Goat. Funny guy. Funny guy. Good squad. Good duo. But I appreciate it, man. Yes, 2026. This is the year that we all ascend. But yeah, W. All the same to you, my friend. Happy New Year. The two goats.
Impractical Grower sent $50. Did taking a vacation is the real accelerationist position. Welcome back.
So true. Very
Pragmatic
good.
Culture sent $100.
Well done.
Welcome back, boss. Hope the time off was restful. Please don't leave again or the world might just collapse.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yes, it was okay. I can't really. It's so hard for me to relax. It's like my biggest problem. You want to know why? The only time I could relax is when I'm procrastinating. You ever feel like that? When I have something I'm supposed to be doing, I could fall asleep. I could get out of the covers. I'm doom scrolling. I'm watching 6 million TikToks. Then it's like, okay, go on vacation. Enjoy yourself. And you're like, I'm so bored. I want to kill myself. I don't even know what to do. Another TikTok, another video game. Fuck that. I want to die. I crave death. Monotony of boredom is worse. So, I don't know if you're the same way, but that's how it felt. I was like, okay, hurry up and enjoy this vacation. And I could just feel that it was ticking away all the time. The one good thing is I just didn't have to do a show. That was maybe the best thing. Other than that, though, I was just like, this shit boring. I thought it would be more productive, but, That's how it goes. Just gotta lie.
Boy 1488 sent $50. I hope you got paid more than $7,000 for this, Judas.
Yeah, dude. The Jews want you to support hemispheric defense. Nowadays, this shit has nothing to do with Israel. It used to be the case that if you were saying, Israel's our closest ally, we need to go to war with Iran, we need to give them foreign aid. It used to be the case that if you said that, you're an Israel shill. Now, if you just are not a nigger, you're an Israel shill. If you're not like some socialist nigger who's like, down with America, we can't do anything. Like, if you're not just some like cocksucking left-wing communist, you know, oh, $7,000, he took the paycheck. Fuck you, left-wing scum. I hope you fucking die. Fuck left-wing scum. Third worldists, get the fuck out of my country. If you're not from here, opinion discarded. Fuck you. That's what I have to say about that. America First goes against all of these fronts. I'm not your boy, okay? Just because I'm critical of Israel doesn't mean I'm some Muslim's boy. Doesn't mean I'm some left-wing fucking turd worldist. Fuck you. It's about American power. We want an empire. That's who we are. We're Rome. You know, that's what white people have always been. Expansion. As Spengler wrote,
God damn it, bro.
Faustian civilization is embodied in the infinitesimal principle, in calculus and flying buttresses, in the music of Mozart. It is the constant expansion out. That is who we are. I'm not going to be told by some Jewish communist, some third world brown filth that hates progress, that hates America, that hates the West, rooting for our decline. I'm not like that. I'm not cut like that, okay? I'm really like that, nigga. And I'm really like that. Yeah, it's like that. We want to invade the world. I saw these dumbasses. They're like, Trump says he's going to invade Greenland. His argument to invade Greenland is laughable at best. I'm like, nigga, this ain't debate club. We're not making arguments. We're coming in heavy with fucking guns and shit. You can't do a thing about it. You know? Trump's justification to invade Greenland is laughable at best. Well, it's a good thing we're not in debate club, bro. Good thing we're in the business of stealth bombers, nuclear fucking bombs, and aircraft carriers, because we'll just fucking kill you, bitch. Who's going to stop us? That's not a good justification. We're taking it. You can do nothing about it. If you try, we will kill you. That's who we are. We're going to kill them. I love when Trump said that. They said, so what are you going to do? He goes, well, we're going to kill them. We'll kill those people. So true, Emperor. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, yeah, no, sorry. The third world is down the hall to the left. You want to cry and bitch and moan about international law. But Trump didn't get permission from Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett to invade Venezuela. Good. What do you think we're playing for, idiots? Niggas are like Ron Paul. We want to take over the government to shrink it. No, we want to take over the government to get our way. Okay, it's Burger King. We want to have it our way. Trump didn't ask Jasmine Crockett and Thomas Massey for permission. That means it is unconstitutional. Dude, they let in 10 million people. It doesn't, I promise you, it does not matter. He didn't ask the United Nations. It's an illegal war. They sold it under a lie. Okay, well, you want to talk about the Tooth Fairy now? It's a noble lie. It's a noble lie. It's for your own good. Okay? Because I said so. We are only constrained by the imagination of our supreme leader. Thank God that we are only constrained by the imagination of our supreme leader, Donald Trump, president of the world. Who else is it? We're the ruler of the world. Who else is it? Emperor of the world. We'll kidnap your leader. I love it. All we need to do is free America.
God damn it.
Niggas be saying free Palestine. Bro, free America. I don't give a shit about free Palestine. When are we going to free America? People are going off. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Burkina Faso. Hands off Iran. How about hands off America? When are these third world niggers going to say that or care about that, huh? Sorry for the... Wow. Starting 26 with a bang. The straight up N-word in the big 2-6. That's crazy. But seriously, we're expected to cater for these people all the time. You know, we're supposed to be these good little white allies. Free Palestine, hands off Iran, hands off Lebanon, and you get all these Muslims. Thank you so much. Then we say, look, we took one guy out because we needed to. We need their oil. And they go, yeah, you're just like the rest of them, $7,000. It's like, okay, so clearly it's not a two-way street. Time to take our own side. Okay? Time to take our own side. You can take your X account. You can go back to Pakistan. Okay, you can roll up your magic carpet and you can go back to Iraq or whatever. All these people, these communists, just fuck off. Cheering on for America. They want to see America get ships blown out of the sky. No, I want to see America dominate the planet. I like that, actually. That's good. I'm American. And if it's in our hemisphere, absolutely. So anyway. You got paid $7,000 to cheer on a war in Venezuela. So what? So it's all like that then, right? If America deports people, $7,000. You cheer on ICE deporting people, $7,000. So what is this? Just like a brown third world republic now? What are we all, Jasmine Crockett? Go fuck yourself. Anyway, someone had to say it. Someone had to say it. Because we've been getting pushed around by these people. They've been taking up space. They've been holding space for the third world. Time to hold some space for what is best for America. Yeah, we took your oil. We drink your milkshake. This is our side of the fucking planet. And you dare our leader to kidnap you? You better believe we're pulling up and we're pulling you out of your bed in your fucking pajamas like a bitch. Because that's who we are. Second to none. We own the finish line. We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line, and we own Venezuela, and all of its oil, and we own Greenland, and we own Panama, and we own Cuba, and we own Canada. It's all ours. We just need to free ourselves from the Jewish elite. That's all. You got it twisted. You started believing this liberal propaganda that we're some little republic. We're some little house on the prairie. Hey, man, leave us all alone, man. No, dude. Bro, no. Hey, y'all, leave me the heck alone, man. Brother, bro, no. Bruh. No, we're coming for you. So anyway, free America. Take the chains off. We're like Gulliver's Travels. Take the chains off. Awaken the sleeping giant. We are America. Finally, we get to do some of the violence. We have sat back and watched Russia invade Ukraine. Iran invade here and there. China's getting ready to invade Taiwan. We're getting pushed around by these like tin pot dictators. They're like, hey man, we're like communists. You can't do that. And we have Obama up there who's like, you're so right. Let's take it up with the United Nations. Like, what? No, it's our turn. We are the danger. We are the one who knocks.
I'm blood.
We are the danger here. Time to remind the world of that, okay? We will turn the lights off. We will kill all of your guards and kidnap you in your pajamas. Give your wife a black eye. Welcome to New York. Here's your prison cell forever. Anyway. So that, we need more of that energy. No low energy. No like low vibrational, inhibitive, restraint, that kind of thing.
What the fuck is this?
No, we have to go out. We have to go forward. Up. We are ascending. People want to shrink America. Let's just leave everybody alone. We had our chance.
I'm scared.
Time to let everyone tell us what to do at the General Assembly. We're not going to take their stuff. We're not going to kill anybody. If Venezuela says all the oil and gold of the world belongs to them and their socialist gangster regime, we just got to let them do it. No, that's insane. Not under my watch. Not under Trump.
You assume sent $38.
No way.
Here are the taxes from the influx of Venezuelan
Wow.
God bless you, nigga.
Thank you very much. Anyway, so that's Look, I feel very strongly about that. I want an American empire. Okay.
Nuclear ballistic broiler inbound sent $20. Beard in July looking hard as fuck. Holy. 2026 we all on food to ascend. America first few adrenal druid moggers being produced as we speak.
Hell yeah.
Cuban Beast sent $50. Have you ever spoke with Bim Billion? Could be a banger of a collab.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a collab. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, it would be fun, but I don't know if he wants to get involved with me, you know. I know, like, Theo Vaughn said some nice things about me, too, recently, but I think a lot of these guys, you know, they're playing they're sort of doing a balancing act, you know. They're walking a tightrope, you know, a thin line. So,
Posh English Chris Chan sent $100. Mosada poisoned me with a...
but I liked him a lot.
Posh English Chris Chan sent $100. Mosada poisoned me with a carcinogen, lead and cadmium for my support of the Palestinian resistance. But I have embraced Islam, so no longer fear death. The Jews also poisoned Muhammad. PVUH.
Wow. Is that true? Thank you for the big super chat.
Amazing. Big sent $20. How do you feel about Sneako's hard stance on the Venezuela intervention? Seems to be in line with others like Glenn Greenwald, Dave Smith, and others. Ignore if you hit this in the monologue.
Yeah, you know, I like Sneeko, but I disagree with him vehemently. And I really respect Glenn Greenwald. I really like him a lot. I really like Dave. He's great. I like all of these guys, but I just disagree with them. I think that Dave is a libertarian. Glenn Greenwald, he's liberal. Like, he's a left-wing guy. Sneeko is sort of a left-leaning guy in some ways. I'm right-wing. I'm a realist. I always have been a foreign policy realist, as long as I've been doing the show. Even when it comes to Iran, I don't want regime change in Iran, but I don't want Iran to have nukes. You know? So, when it comes to I have always been in favor of America pursuing its strategic interests.
General Messina sent $25. Sneeko paraded you around on stream for views. Milked you for every second. Now Elon RPs is a political commentator adding Goyers. I'm going to jake you to every take on Venezuela, undermining your geopolitical take, but probably couldn't even recall the Cuban Missile Crisis or how Monroe Doctrine is relevant here. He's low IQ.
What is this parading me around? We did a collab. We had a discussion, and he's my friend. I like him. I like to do his stream. I like to do his content. It's good for me. I get an audience with his people. It's good for him. My people watch the video. I'm not going to tell you why collaborations are good for a creator. And look, we have a disagreement. We have these discussions. I think it's an interesting conversation. We're two very different people. He's Muslim and from New York and not white. You know, he's Haitian. What is he? Filipino, Hungarian Jew. And he comes from the red pill thing, and I come from where I come from. So it's just an ongoing conversation. There's nothing wrong with that.
Jesse Wade sent $50. Even as an Australian, I felt patriotic about the Delta Force operation in Venezuela. Just a bunch of nationalist white men going in and conquering land for the Anglos here. Wang IFs. I was listening to the ICE force out in the field protecting America. You guys have global support, and the remigration sentiment is growing. God bless you.
Absolutely. It's totally awesome. And if you don't think it's awesome, I have my doubts. Because it just is awesome. The whole thing. Like, as a guy. I don't know, as a guy, you don't love that.
Chris Mike said $100. When the grow-eyebrows finally take over, will the uniform be super skinny black pants that highlight every noodle calf plus 3-inch heel boots so polished you can see the skip squats in the reflection?
Yeah. Thanks for the big super chat.
1776 sent $20. James Fishback said he will tax of host 50%. Politicians will talk about IBAC, blacks. But at last now we have a guy calling out these nasty whores.
So
move back to LA faggots. We don't want you.
That's awesome, because they did all move to Miami, so I love that.
Blue Banana 2121 sent $20. Glad you're back. Thanks for everything, Nick. Host,
thank you.
Average John 93 sent $50. We can't get rid of the left here in Canada. Too many seats in Ontario and Quebec. System sucks. Bankrupt us and take us over and deport the 5 mil on expired visas, please.
Yeah, bro. Canada's over.
Fire sent $100. Welcome back. The beard has increased the power level.
I feel it. Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah,
Joan Dark 95 sent $20. You know you were street popular when my 70 years / Fox News watching dad asked if you were a bad guy. I said no. Actually, he's a revolutionary. Dad responded they make him out to be the worst, but I haven't heard one thing I disagree with yet. It's just the truth. Even some boomers are waking up.
Let's go. Love it.
Fiber Danny sent $20. Love so many retards on Twitter saying we should do things that benefit America because Israel is allied with America. Fuck everyone but American patriots.
So true.
Third World Broiler sent $20. Happy New Year, nigga. I like the beard, but it makes you look less anti-Semitic.
Really?
Boo Baby 8 sent $50. Bro, go fuck yourself. Don't ever take that long of a break again. The world's falling apart and we need the Newang to comment.
Okay, but the rudeness.
Shanko 69 sent $20. Nicola intro. What do you think about subliminal audios for looks maxing? There's a growing remain app called Whisper Loop that I use on Reddit for looks maxing. Seems to work wonders.
Never heard of it. I love Clav though. Saw the stream the other night. Very funny. He goes on this yacht, and I tune in. I saw him on Twitter. He goes, "Oh, I'm doing this yacht party," And within like 10 minutes, he's like, all right, this shit is boring. The girls are chopped. I want to go home and play video games. I'm like, dude, how is he not to glaze, not to continue meat riding, but like, bro, it just gets better. He goes, he pays $6,000 to rent this yacht. Some Jew put out a spread of food and stuff. He seemed like a nice guy for what it's worth, but like he had Star of David earrings. And Clav looks at the girls and goes, see, all these girls are chopped. The girls are ugly. He goes, I don't want to sit around and talk to a bunch of retarded whores all night. I want to go home and play video games. I'm like, dude, why is this? Like, he's so awesome. I know that comes across like infatuation and meat riding. It's just based, okay? So, you know, the GOAT.
Christopher Rose once sent $100. The Illinois license plate, Groiber, is surprisingly available.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'll get that so, like, people could shoot me with an RPG or
Human
something.
Circle 98 sent $20. Love the show. I'm 20 and was a full-on woke leftist, but I got interested in the conservative movement after Charlie Kirk's assassination. I found you through him and was hooked into it. The America First message deeply resonates with me, and I appreciate your realness. Plus, you're super cute. All the love. Deanna less than 3.
Oh, brother. Well, hey, thank you. I'm 20 and was a full-on woke leftist, but well, hey, thank you very much. I'm glad you think I'm cute. Thank you so much. No one seems to agree. Everyone hates me. Everyone hates me. And will not even look at me a second time. I'm a 5'9" fucking subhuman. So I'm glad somebody thinks that. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But I appreciate it. Hey, thank you so much. Big shout out. Super cute stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it.
W show.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, W
Irish
chat.
$50. 55 to 65-year-old black women with jobs are probably the best people among us. Every time I speak to one, they're super sweet and social, have a story of a hardship that rose above by the grace and mercy of God. Super funny and charismatic, just overall really warm and kind. They unfortunately also talk about how their adult kids are a mess, which is sad.
Okay, like, get real. We don't need to go that far. Older black women are actually probably the best among us. It's like, brother, what are we doing here? What the fuck is this, actually? Actually, older black women, it's like, they're very nice, I'm sure, but this is just diversity with extra steps. What are we doing? You just get done reading Beloved? Like, well, what is up with that?
Raven sent $50, going hard like Pac in 1996.
Pac is gay and
I love
sucks.
Elliot Smith sent $20. No.
Going hard like Pac. What, like a gay nerd? Pause. Like what? But like what? Like a poet? Like a poet that is like a fake gangster? The difference is I'm a real gangster. Okay, that's the difference. He's supposed to, it's like, wait a second. Going hard like Pac. No, absolutely not. No, I'm going hard like, who's better than Tupac? Kanye?
I love Elliot Smith sent $20. No one cares about Venezuela. The featured story should have been
Take
World
the
War
L.
III. On the one hand, BuzzBulk smugs, but on the other hand, Postman always delivers. I am so conflicted. To what extent will World War III impact gas prices?
I've been following this. I don't know what's BuzzBulk's problem. What is his problem with Posted Man? I like Postman. I watch his streams. I like Postman's content. It's good to see him on Instagram. He's getting viewership. You know, and like Postman is one of the only ones I know in the scene. So BuzzBulk, like the physique, low-key mods and everything, but I don't know why he has a problem. I guess it's just like he's just clip farming or something, but I like them both. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, how would I respond if I got asked about this? And my response is, I like them both. I like Postman. I like BuzzBulk. I like them both, okay? They should get along. They're both seem like good guys. So, I love Postman's TikTok. He said, what was it? It was a play on the, what is it? How can you call it a movement when you have no motion? He goes, how can you call it a New Year's when you have no New Year's resolutions? That was really funny. That was keck. So, well, I love to see the younger class come up. Very proud. I'm a proud, ancient, old man.
Northern Point 211 sent $20. Thank you for all you do. Hope you enjoyed the generational rest.
Thanks.
Ruthless Zoomer sent $30. Hey Nick, I made a thread exposing Ian Carroll in his background.
Wow. I'll check it out. Thanks.
Social Observer sent $20. Did we attack Venezuela with super soldier package? You act like this is not a thing. LOL.
That is totally fake. Totally. You guys fall for anything. Yeah, bro, the sonic weapons just flew over my house. Yeah, bro, the directed energy weapon beam just flew over my house. I just heard it. That shit's fake. You're gullible. That happens every time. Get in here, Paul! We're about to attack Venezuela with a directed energy weapon. We just declassified it from DARPA, like, brother. How many... They say that every time. Every time something happens. Something like that.
Ruthless Zoomer sent $30. 2026. The year of total gooner death. Glory to the AGL. Oh,
So true. So true.
That one bro Viper 19 sent $50. Hey Nick, absolutely love the merch. Whenever I wear the merch that I have in public, I expect to get harassed, but instead I get compliments left and right. The people are siding with
Thanks.
you. God bless you, and I pray for the health, safety, and well-being
Thank you,
of your
man.
family and all the fellow
I
Ohioans.
appreciate it. Thank you
Lucy
very
Cat Baby
much.
sent $20. I woke up from a dream this morning where Piers Morgan saw a dog poop on the floor and started breakdancing in it. He said I'm doing flippies in the shitty. Cave Hand Grenade sent
Don't need to hear
$69.
that.
Regarding Israel, I mean Venezuela. Matt Walsh said no country has a right to exist if you rely on
That's a
Third
duplicate.
World Broker sent $20. Do you think Maduro's capture is tied to the rigging of our elections? I read Elon met with a Dominion whistleblower before the 2024 election to work their plans on election night.
No, dude. That is so cooked that you would even say that. Yeah, we captured Maduro to testify about the Dominion voting machines. How stupid do you have to be to actually believe that? No offense if there's boomers out there that are victims of this. But holy... Yeah, bro, we kidnapped Maduro because he also had the secrets about the bioweapon, the clot shot, and the nanotechnology. He knows where the missing Malaysian Airlines flight went, and he has the keys to the stolen election. And it's all going according to Q's plan. Yeah, right. Trump's uncle time traveled to tell us this.
25 sent $20. Precisely decapitated Maduro and didn't change the regime in Venezuela because the Monroe Doctrine in every country must bow to U.S. leaders, just like U.S. leaders bow to Israel. Great episode, Nick.
Exactly.
Alex Pacheco sent $20. No one's ever going to love you more than God, your mama and me.
Wow, thank you so
Ginger
much.
Bell sent $50. I'm a 13th generation white female American, married 22 years, have 2 beautiful children, and I put down 50 Shades of Grey every night to watch your show. You're fantastic. God bless you.
Okay, I don't... That sounds fake to me, but okay.
Slamsons sent $20. My Canadian Grover buddies and I miss you, Nika.
Goonette is putting down her porn novel to watch the show. It's so funny when women say they read. It's like that black girl on New Year's. She's like, I've done read 60 books this year. And you look at it, it's all just like porn for women. It's all just like, this is flop. Like, this is the equivalent of brain rot just transcribed into words. They probably have pictures in those books. I've done read 60 books. How smart. How smart. Those are not real books.
Newcomers at $20. Out of all the demented and psychotic shit the left has said and done, to this day nothing disgusts me more than the Kathy Griffin pictures in 2017.
Okay, well, that's a first.
SP87621 sent $50.
Bro, still mad.
Venezuela will be a success for ordinary Americans only if most of the 2 million people who came under Biden are remigrated. If business as usual continues and more Venezuelans come here as a result of Trump's invasion, no strategic gain is worth that price.
I agree.
Mertzy sent $20. Hey Nick, just wanted to say your show compelled me into learning and converting to the Catholic faith.
Oh,
Who's your favorite saint and or favorite work by a saint? God bless for 2026.
I don't really have a favorite saint, honestly.
88 sent $50. Work production.
I'm not into... I mean, I know I should be, the lives of the saints and everything, but I'm just not. People give me such a... Oh, that means you're a fake Catholic. It's like, I don't know. I guess I just don't really have...
88 cent $50. Worked production in the Texas oil fields for 16 years. Sour gas. Crude refers to hydrogen sulfide. Highly corrosive and 100 ppm can kill you. The cost to treat with chemical is also very expensive.
Okay, thanks for
07 cent $25. Hey Nick, it's clear you have a rare ability to energize and lead a crowd. One can't help but imagine what you could accomplish on a larger stage. Nick forever.
Thank you.
Open door 1235 cent $50. Ice agent pressed RB to activate bats. Percent 100 chance to hit head. Slumlord Roy percent $20.
Not reading
George
that.
Date sent $20. I look straight. Mellow 67 cent $20.
Thanks.
You need to dye your hair and eyebrows darker. Also, a lot of people in the West genuinely think that climate change will lead to some type of climate Armageddon, which I think impacts their worldview. Reformed anarchist sent $20. Just got my hoodie and hat. Love you, Nick.
Thanks.
Jones sent $20. Hey, Nick, would you rather be in Pierce Morgan's shoes and be a cuck to his wife or be Candace Owens' husband but still a cock?
Candace Owens' husband, because Candace Owens is hotter than Pierce's
Your
wife.
Black Cat sent $20. I downloaded Rumble just for you. Thank you so much for speaking out about the things most people are scared to. Every time I post you, I get death threats, but I'll never stop speaking out.
Damn.
Love you.
Be careful.
Disembodied Voice Roy percent $20. Where am I? Where are we going? Who are you? Eric Therapist sent $20.
Very funny.
Happy New Year. What made you choose Boston University from the other schools you applied/got accepted to? God bless.
It was just the best school I got
Kieran
into.
sent $35.
Oh.
Greg Johnson from Countercurrents was talking shit about your take on Venezuela. Do you do a beef? Would you collab? Capital of Liechtenstein?
No idea who that is. Capital of Liechtenstein is what, Vaduz? Or is it... Let me think. Valletta is, don't tell me. Valletta is south of Italy. What is the island south of Italy? Vilnius is Lithuania, and Vaduz is Liechtenstein. Am I right? What is south of Italy? I can't remember this country for the life of me. The island nation. What is it? I don't remember. It's late.
Telman 36 cent $33. Thoughts on Sunny Fassy bad mouths Christians and white boys every day.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Cosillionaire said $100. Go treat yourself to a nice Stafford style pizza. Al.
Very good. Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it.
$50.
Malta, Malta.
I support hemispheric defense and preemptive warfare that protects the
Let's
USA
go.
from deteriorating in any way. I think the decades of fighting Jewish wars has muddied the brand low, and PPL just don't get how nations survive. Q. If no sanctions, VC could sell oil to everyone, and China would have to pay like everyone else. Not for cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Thank you.
Ray Oliphant sent $20. Man General Raising Cane's Abitigo can confirm his favorite order is a stir-fried fucking pizza. 777 Patton said $100. Tom Off always amplifies how unbelievably boring every other show is. No one doesn't like you. Glad
So
you're back.
true.
We missed the
Thank
show.
you for the big
God bless.
super chat. I
Ray sent $20.
appreciate it.
I heard on the pod that your favorite band is Vacations. I was wondering what your favorite song by them was.
They're not my favorite band, just like an indie band. All the songs sound the same to me, honestly. I couldn't tell you a name of a song because they're all the same. The problem with these indie songs is I just get them on like Weekly Discover and Daylist. I couldn't tell you the names or artists of any of these songs, because I don't really even read it. I just
Rockstar Grow Viper sent $20. Your beard is lined up perfectly. A-OK emoji. Great job, love that new look.
thanks a lot.
Sent $100. I guess word finally made it to Trump that you were fed. Did he realize he could just order you to support the Venezuela operation?
Yeah. Dan Bongino hit me up. Thank you for the big super chat.
Leo Pig sent $50. Do you give any credence to the protocols of Elders of Zion?
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be real.
999 sent $20. Regarding the Monroe Doctrine, I feel as though everyone is sleeping on Colombia and Mexico, especially with the military vehicle movement towards the Mexico border.
What are you talking about?
Rossick 56 cent $20. Funny thing is that Wallace signed MN legislation to make even driving in the direction of law enforcement with your car a deadly threat, and therefore lethal force is entirely legal. So fuck
Let's
yeah.
go.
Neon White Rabbit sent $20. Nick, the anti-white meme showing obese man should not be the only mess against us. I am in on your 2026 looks max idea. We need to look like soldiers until they meme us with Rambo. Mission Mix sent $20. That beard looks so good on you.
Thanks.
Stomp sent $20. I got salmonella poisoning from Costco rotisserie chicken on Jan 1st. Insomnia, chest bloating, vomiting, dehydrated. Still not fully healed. Feeling a lot better now. But man, there has never been a time I thought more about my brain being in the robot. Fuck you, Costco.
Sorry to
San
hear that.
Francisco Freedom sent $20. Hi Nick, I'm a big fan. It's an honor to meet fellow Grow Vipers and other people from the Bay Area who are in the same movement. I created a chat where we can meet occasionally, get pizza and watch AF Live. Shout out to Philly, CD, and the rest of the NorCal/Bay Area.
Be careful.
Hey, sent $100. Welcome back.
Thank you for the big super chat. Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Looking forward to the GTA 6 streams with you on Joe Rogan this
Me
year.
too. I can't wait. Thank you for that.
AMDGJMJ sent $25. Welcome back. Read an article about you and the OC registered typical Wang story telling conservatives to reject you. Got our merch. Love it.
Let's go.
Anon
Merch
sent
up.
$20. We do thoughts on Fishback yet? Alabama sent $20. So glad you're back. The beard looks good. Not being creepy, I am a grandma. From the southeast side of Chicago, just stating the obvious.
That's not creepy. That's sweet. Thank you very much. We love the grandmas and the moms. We love Chicagoans. Southeast side? What are you doing there? Who wants to be there? I don't even want to be in the west side.
JF sent $20. How do we rectify smoking cigarettes to look cool as gay with particular smoking meth to mom?
That's totally different.
JF sent
One is performative, one is utilitarian.
JF sent $20. Did you see what the Pope had to say about Venezuela 3 or 4 days ago? I certainly see how getting rid of a China-loving commie benefits us, but didn't they want to talk? Couldn't we have talked instead of kidnapping him and his wife? I think force could have been the last option instead of the first.
No, I disagree. I like it.
Search Vote sent $20.
I like it. I like the message it
Search Vote
sends.
sent $20.
Reestablishing
Search
deterrence.
Vote sent $20.
Always
Watched your
valuable.
Piers Morgan interview today. Me mom had me dying. Thank you for holding the line, Nick.
Thank you.
Fellow 67 sent $20. Have you seen people are increasingly scapegoating white liberal women, or even just white women? Isn't that basically the same as hating on straight white men, which is what people have been doing?
No, because they are causing a lot of the problems. I agree there's like some level of scapegoating going on there, just like with Muslims, but then you also have white knight simps saying we can never hold any women accountable if they're white. Being pro-white means defending these like race trading bitches that hate us. Race trader, they're literally jumping in front of a car. We're jumping in front of a bullet to defend Somali scammers. Like, no.
Britt sent $100. No message. By the way, welcome back.
Thank
Did you
you.
hear about Blitz sent $25? Why do you think the midwit lefties are so tingled about ICE shooting George Floyd a few days ago?
It's obvious.
Source sent $20. I'm home from college and my dad has the best 100 books ever written collection in his study. Should I read Politics and Poetics, War and Peace, Pride and Prejudice, Crime and Punishment, Rights of Man, or kill myself? Huckleberry 999 sent $20. I'm 34. My mom passed 6 years ago and my father 14. Call your parents. I miss having someone to call. Sneeko sent $20. Rate that one super chatter.
So true, Sneeko. You tell
Diddy
him.
Sprinkle sent
Go.
Diddy Sprinkle
What
sent
up?
$50.
Oh, wait. Rape Sneeko gave me $50. You only gave me 20. Didn't he? Rape Sneeko gave me 50. Sneeko gave me 20. I don't know, man. I'm kidding. Obviously, we're going to side with Rape Sneeko. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We love Sneeko. I'm not shaking you down. I got to super chat you. You super chat my show. I got to super chat your show. I was going to, but I had to wait an hour after I followed you on Kick to even be in the live
Diddy
chat.
Sprinkle sent $50.
And I don't know how to super chat
Diddy
with you.
Sprinkle sent $50. Rewatched your podcast with Andrew Tate today. Still one of my favorite episodes to listen to. Hope to see you guys collab again. Happy New Year's, brother.
Hey, who knows? I would love to collab with Tate. He's in the States now. He's from the States. He's in Miami, so maybe we'll do
Shayla
it.
sent $20. 2 weeks and you already have a better beard than Matt Walsh.
Oh, stop. It's
Anderson
not
sent
that much
$20.
better.
G much love, bro.
Thanks.
Sent $100. Great show tonight. Love the
Thank
beard.
you.
I miss you.
Are you hot? How old are you?
Amy Dangerfield sent $25. God bless you, Nick. Are you still willing to interview with me in Miami? P.S. Your mug smile.
Maybe. I don't know. When am I going to be in Miami next? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Next time I'm in Miami, let's do it. I should be back there soon. I'm doing a collab out there, so let's do it. While I'm there, why not? It'll be fun. Thank you. The Beard Mogs, thank you.
Even Dog 66 sent $20. Is using
I
Tesla
appreciate
self-driving
it.
base search I like.
I don't know. I kind of want to use it. I want to try it. You know, driving is kind of goy activity, so, but it's also very American. You know, it is goyish to be like in traffic, but it's very American to be like doing a cannonball challenge or something, so I don't know.
The Dark Boy sent $30. Love this ref.
Ambivalent.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Larry Silverstein is a
I
pizza
appreciate
shit
it.
sent $20.
Here
Nick
we
looks
go.
good. Keep the beard, it looks great. This message is for everybody. Fuck the IRS. Israeli Revenue Service. File a W-4 with your HR department. Mark all zeros and put exempt. No taxation without representation,
That's
guys.
crazy.
1776,
Let's
2026.
not, though.
Let's do this, everybody. We will pay taxes once they start representing U.S.
Let's not. You're just going to go to jail. Like, no one's doing that shit. Everyone involved will go to jail. Let's just not and do other stuff.
Sloppy Jones sent $25. Hey, Nick, did you visit Candace on vacation? Maybe go to the Bahamas? Fall in love in Paris? Would love to know where you all went.
I wish. No. Solo
Fishy Al
adventure
sent
for
$20.
your boy.
Thoughts on James Fishback? Nodity 12 sent $50.
How many
Certain
times?
card payments don't work. I learned Volvo SUVs and bulletproof builds.
Okay.
Matthew P sent $20.
Good to know.
Mirror in the facial hair W beard maxing. Just commit to growing it and you'll soon see how jester it is to be a babyface low test. Absolutely ridiculous, so human. Lol JK, but did you see Clav on Fresh and Fit?
No, facial hair is a cope. I just like to change it up a little. Yeah, I did see Clav. He was looking good. No homo. You know, all these, oh, that's really gay. Myron. I'm Myron Gaines over here. I'm Myron. I am admiring. He was looking good. But, yeah, that was interesting.
That's Snowy Ice Supreme X sent $25. Starstruck emoji.
Thank you.
Jim Bob Langford sent $25. Thanks for taking my advice and starting the show earlier. If you need any more tips, just let me know. Also, Broken Arrow. Okay, stop Tomas from being built tonight. Big W for Okies. John's2552 sent $20. So taking your own side means not voting Republican as long as they are owned by Jews, even though they are better for America and everything, but also cheering Jewish-owned American regime for doing only one thing right, thus validating the system.
Yep.
Mercurius 1000 sent $20. Take your own side is a sneaky, powerful frame for whites. Needs to take off.
Yeah,
Peter sent
we've been pushing
$250 in building Somaliscan.com, comprehensive government spending database for the public. If you want any data on fraud/spending, I have a ton. I think if we fix the fraud, America has a shot. Nearly all economic problems are due to unchecked government spending. It's asinine. DM me on Exit Beaver. Anything you need, just LMK. We will win.
Well, they will do nothing. It's all futile. The FBI should be doing that. Thank you for the big super chat, though. They will do nothing with that. I think that's a waste of time. Whatever. I mean, it's a good resource, but, like, the FBI should be getting to the bottom of
The
that.
Artie sent $50. Keep cooking. Sexy Angelique sent $100. Nick, why are you sipping for black girls if you want to keep the white race alive? Why would a woman that is potentially wife material going to be with you when you speak so highly of nigga bitches?
I'm just not even.
Kelly
Thank you for
Grover
the
sent
super
$25.
chat.
Joel Webben is George Yonko's self-perception of himself. George is such an idiot simp for the Epson Levance girl.
I don't really know
Tim
George.
Hotline sent $100. Welcome back.
Thank you for the big
Playing
super
Rabbit sent
chat.
$20.
Good to be back.
Realize I just turned 27 while watching Nick
No
and Knife.
way.
07 to my fellow Trussels in chat.
Happy
RK4 and JF.
birthday, 27. That's the year when you really start to feel old, so congrats.
Sent $20. Welcome back. I hope you had a good time recharging batteries. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Josh from Florida sent $25. Can we stop aligning with Muslims? It's illegal to convert to Christianity in Iran, but they want us to pledge our allegiance to the supreme leader because he hates Israel. All these Muslims showed their true colors with the Maduro situation. We must tolerate our fat dictator's threats because he says free Palestine.
So
Maggie sent $25. Hey Nick, have you heard about the Beth Israel Synagogue arson in Jackson, Mississippi on January 10th? The fire destroyed the library, offices, and several sacred Torah scrolls. The FBI is investigating it as a targeted act due to the building's Jewish ties, and the suspect is 19-year-old who plays college baseball. Crazy stuff.
I did see that. That's crazy. Do not do that. If it needs to be said, don't burn down synagogues, obviously. Such a stupid thing to do. Just, totally idiotic, dangerous, illegal, immoral. Yeah, try to get involved in politics. Don't be a fucking idiot.
MK sent $20. Keep the beard nigga. Heil man Yahoo. Man raising hand emo.
Okay.
Chop Canadian sent $20. The furry stand behind Nick Fuentes. Drewster sent $25. I bought a Royer intelligence agency hat like 2 weeks ago, but that shit still hasn't shipped.
Okay, be patient.
Roe Indian sent $20. R.I.P. Jim Condis Jr.
Yes, rest in
Cuddly
peace.
sent $20. 010 worst federal agent I've ever seen. All you do is go hard as fuck and piss off global interest group.
Thanks.
Allison
Let's
sent
go.
$50. I love you.
Oh, stop.
Flipper
Thank
23
you.
sent $20. Thoughts on Joshua Block. World of T-shirts. Would you collab?
No, I don't like that exploitative stuff with retards. I don't like collabing with retards. It's too exploitative. They should just go and push the shopping around. Putting them in front of a camera and chasing them around and telling them put the fries in the bag. Probably unethical and unsavory. So I don't like that. Okay, just let the retards put the groceries in the bag. All right, that's our last super chat. That's going to do it for me. Wow, that was a 3.5 hour show. 3.5 hour show. That's a marathon. That's all I got for you. Remember to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the show. Get your merch at Fuentes.store, 10% off discount. Subscribe at AmericaFirst.plus, $100 a month club. You get access to a group chat with me and hang out with me and stuff. I'm on the air Monday through Friday. As always, thanks for watching. Big thank you to our top super chatters tonight. Special thanks to Francesco, Nasty Nate, Beaver, Chris NRS, Noosh, Average John, Sexy and Unique. Oh, sounds like an awesome person. Wang Half, Muzzy, Cookie Bacon Granny, Rape Sneeko. He gave me $100. Rapist Werewolf, Billboard Meme, Tanner, Rubicon, Hand Grenade, Pragmatic Culture, Posh, English, Chris Chan, Crisis Dome, something. Torches and Fire, B-Hub88, Christophoros, Moongroiper, Gazillionaire, 777 Patton, Maxi Bro, Girthy Groiper, Triz, Mia York, and Hoplite. Must have missed that one. I don't think I saw Hoplite. There, maybe it's from last year. Thank you to our top super chatters, everybody that super chats. We love you. I'll see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock sharp. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your evening.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. It's going to be only America first. America first. The American people will come first once again. With respect, the respect that we deserve. It's going to be only America first. America first.